Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit education or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and is transformative in nature.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
You haven't.
Hey, John, what do you want us to take away from this extraordinary series of yours?
Well, I want people who are not Latin to have Latin envy and wish they had been born Latin, and for Latin people to realize, damn, being Latin is a superpower, man. I mean, the things that we've suffered in this country, 500 years, our wealth was stolen from us. We were lynched. We were burned, shot alive. We've been the only American citizens that have ever been deported by the millions. And yet we contribute and we build and we thrive.
To me, if you have been here for 5 years and you do not have a criminal record, you will be able to go on the dignity status for 7 years.
That status is like a probation period.
You will not be deported. You will not lose your assets. You can work anywhere in the country. You will pay taxes.
And there would be an additional tax.
A new levy of 1.5 withholding called the dignity levy will be held from your paycheck. You will not have access to any government program and will have to buy your own health insurance.
And another charge.
You will pay $700 a year for 7 years, and that adds up to around $5,000. Those $5,000 will represent around $45 billion.
This is provided that the undocumented immigrants total 10 million, but there are more.
And that fund will go to pay for border security. The other bucket of money, the 1.5, will go to re-educate or retrain any American who believes that he or she has lost his opportunity, his job opportunity, to an undocumented.
Some of the other legislators who support the bill said they are aware that it is not perfect. They said it's better than doing nothing.
Various groups, feminist, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the black civil rights experience.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated blacks like children and many of their policies have been harmful to blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, I mean, we shouldn't. There is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but that's, or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for blacks. We done to the immigrants. We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country. Democrats are dropping the blacks and moving on to the Hispanics because they're a larger group of Hispanics now. But could I just say to Jorge, I hate to disagree with you when you're attacking President Obama, but I think the point on immigration is you can have open borders or you can have a welfare state. You cannot have both.
Doing a great job in the heart these days.
You're late again, Eddie.
I know what you've been trying to do. You ain't gonna do it. See, Big Red done pulled my coattail to you a long, long time ago.
That's bullshit, Eddie. You talking crazy.
Crazy like a mother fox. And you, I can see through your jive ass like glass, nigga.
Eddie, you got it all wrong, man.
Stealing my moves. My style. and trying to riff like me.
Hey man, why don't you get your boy out of here and detox him?
You on my spot, Flash? Slum-dwelling, scum-sucking, slug-ass motherfucker. You on my spot, Flash? Huh? Well, you ain't gonna get it, cause you ain't got it.
These kind of boys seems innocent, Boogie. Got everybody on the post thinking he's a strong black buck. White boys envy his strength, his speed, power in his swing. Then this colored champion lets those same white boys call him Shine or Sambo.
Whoa, Lord.
And he just smiles.
Dream about the time when I was a little boy.
Can't talk.
The night would get blue.
Can barely read or write his own name. And don't care. He'll tell you they like him. Or that colored folks ain't supposed to have but so much sense.
Yes, he would.
You know the damage one ignorant Negro can do. We were in France in the First War. We'd won decorations. But the white boys had told all them French gals that we had tails. Then they found this ignorant colored soldier. Paid him to tie a tail to his ass and run around half naked making monkey sounds. They put him on a big round table in the Cafe Napoleon. Put a reed in his hand, crown on his head, blanket on his shoulders, and made him eat bananas in front of all them Frenchies. Oh, the white boys danced that night. Passed out leaflets with that boy's picture on it. Called him Moonshine, king of the monkeys. And when we slit his throat, you know that fool asked us what he had done wrong. My daddy told me we got to turn our backs on his kind, Wilkie. Close our ranks to the chitlins, the collard greens, the cornbread style. We are men, soldiers. And I don't intend for our race to be cheated out of its place of honor and respect in this war because of fools like CJ. You watch everything he does. Everything.
You said your people have been fighting for 400 years.
Man, your peoples too.
So I just want you to explain what you mean by that.
You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the I talk about when I say these things. Your people too.
Explain it. Not everybody knows what you're talking about.
Radio Raheem, I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I said by that. I ain't got to go further. And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. Go look up the history. Don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what. I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. He's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day. You just sit here, you don't know.
And since the American white man has used his control over the press to rewrite history or retell history, and since the white man can't dispute this truth, it's not hate to say that we were kidnapped and brought here, it's truth. It's not hate to say that we were Jim Crow, discriminated and segregated, it's truth. It's not hate to say that the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in this country, came up with a hypocritical desegregation decision 9 years ago, which they haven't enforced yet. That's not hate, that's truth.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions. behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds. And this is We Up Report. Want to say what's good to all the lives in the house. But first, before we get into all that, we must go ahead and give our hats out for those who contribute to the show. We always got a place for you in our heart. We always want to thank you. First, we're going to give a shout out to Mr. We Boogie. We Boogie gave the show last week the contributions. We want to thank you, me and my family. Want to thank you for your contributions. And thank you so much, We Boogie. It's been a pleasure and thankful. We take our hats off. We prostrate to you, brother. We are thankful for anybody who ever gives. And We Boogie decided he gave, and we want to give his appreciation for what he did. And this other brother who needs no introduction, who is, if this was the top 100, he has been on the number one week after week after week. That brother there is Mr. Spencer 0620, tried and true blue 100. That brother right there is the brother. If you had a show, that's the type of brother you want. That's the type of brother that many of those who do shows would love to have the kind of support that brother do. He's 100. He's thorough in my book. My family and I always are very appreciative when you come through and do what you do, how you continue to do. Again, one day I'm going to tell the story. Right now, we got past that, but we got another one, but we'll be talking about that later. But once again, Mr. Spencer 0620, we thank you for your cash app, sir. Now, all right, so I know We Boogie is in the house. What's good, We Boogie? I see you in there when you came that comment in there. So let's go ahead. You've seen the thumbnail again. Wait a minute. For those who might be passing by, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business now. 1 and 1 is 11 years. 11 years on the business since January 26th of 2012. Probably never heard of me. We are the most suppressed show that you can find anywhere on the YouTube circuit. Happen to see something, go down the aisle. We always got a grain open to see something to make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of my show is the truth. Don't need no partner. Now, some of you might have came over here and clicked on to the simple fact that you've seen the thumbnail, the title of the show. But what we talking about today, Mr. Blows Your Mind? Well, let me go ahead and show you the thumbnail for those who might have clicked on it. And today's show is what original sin benefit? Let me say that one more again. What original sin benefits, right? There's some people out here making statements to the fact that they say that the ordeal that those that some say Black American, the Tatars, indigenous, Moors, Niji, and all the above, brother term, biologically, who we are all related and we come to that unison of one understanding and one mind. But you know who we talking about. There's people who say that we benefit from whatever ordeal that transpired of the robbing, the stealing, the plundering, the killing and suppressing and becoming POWs, that we benefited from that. Can you believe that? Can you believe somebody even had the notion to even curl their mouth to say something like that? Like, really? Oh, we benefited, right? Okay, so when you think about benefits, you're talking about something like annuities, right? Insurance or some kind of government program. Now, you know, they always got that, I guess you could say, stereotype when talking about government programs, like the poster of it is always one of our people, but we know better than that, right? And then there's also benefits. You talk about the amount of money one receives under the certainties of certain aspects of that program, or annuities, insurance, right? And then there's the stated circumstances under that benefits. And so a lot of times benefits are commonly referred to in periodic payments, right? So when you say that we benefit in benefits, I think we still looking for them checks. Some of y'all will agree, right? When we talk about one begins to receive following after you retire. Well, they done pushed the retirement age up another 2 years, and the way that it's going, some of us may make it, and a lot of us are not going to make it, but you are contributing and putting into the pots, but may not get that, but that's supposed to be a benefit, right? They also they always go to the kickstand move of welfare. Now, again, like I said, being the poster, so when you say that word welfare payments, it's always seen to be the poster of somebody who looks like us. They also talk about how when you talk about rental assistance and food stamps. I don't know, do they even still got food stamps today? I remember back in the day, a book of 65, got the purples, the green, and the browns, right? Back in the day when you was growing up in that dollar food stamp, back in the day, now I could say something that make me sound like I'm 100 years old, but it ain't been that long ago. Back in the day, you had no money. You take that brown dollar food stamp, go get you a Snicker, get 75 cents back. Go to the other store, get you a Coke, got your 75 cents, right? Now you do 75, got $1.50. That's your little hustle. That was a benefit. That's supposed to be a benefit, y'all, that we was cashing in to get change so that we can survive off food stamps, right? People selling books of food stamps and so forth and so on. But that was supposed to be a benefit, right? And then there's how they are fixed at certain amounts. Again, people who will be on welfare, there's a certain amount that they get. It's never enough. It's like saying, for instance, let's say you 6 feet. No, let's say you 5'11". But I put you in 6 feet water. If you probably turn your head backwards and keep your nose above, you might just be able to breathe. Let me say that one more again. Let me say if you're about 5'11" and I put you in 6 feet of water, you might be able to hold your head back just to keep your nose up so that you don't drown. That's pretty much about how these benefits of them programs really are. Nothing to get over, but a lot of people like to put a lot of emphasis on, like, whoa, y'all get all these benefits and stuff. Like, really? But we seeing that the benefits they cut the tap off and allowed it to run amok with other folks, but ain't nobody seem to have a problem when it comes to that, right? When it comes to those kind of benefits, right? So anyway, with that being said, we're just saying that, right, benefits that we are the beneficiaries of being the original sin, right? I'm remixing that original sin, right? Because they saying that, you know, that old saying they say, well, if we didn't come get you, even though a lot of us, we know damn better that you didn't bring us, but that narrative of that story is, well, if we didn't bring you, you would still be there suffering and going through the things that they're doing. See, they like saying that like that was some kind of, you know, like that's some, I don't know, I guess they think that's something good. I don't know, but we know that's a lie. But anyway, so we're going to explore with some of the things to show really what benefits are there. Right? We're gonna look at what are these benefits. Now, some of you, when I start talking about a little bit about history and slavery, some of you get queasy and nauseous, and I don't heard that so many times. Okay, how about this? Let me, for those who think like that, let me do it like this. For those who think like that, check this out. Let's say this is a classroom. I'm the teacher. And I say, well, put this up on the board, right? Let me put this on the board, right? So I put on the board that you see there. This is going to be an ad. This is going to be addition. Now, I'm giving you the answer. You have to fill in the equation. Oh, let me say that one more again. I'm going to give you the answer. See, the answer is kind of like everybody would tell you. See, it's like saying this. When you bring up slavery in history, everybody says, I already know, I know this. They going to swear down they know. So it's like everybody got the answer, right? Everybody got the answer. But do they? Do they? Okay, we all see the answer that you see on your screen. We see the answer, right? But how did I get the 120,886? Let me say that one more again. How did I get the 1,200 or 1,020, 120,000? I'm sorry, look, y'all. I ain't do all what I'm supposed to do before. We're gonna get through. We're gonna get through this. 120,886, right? Now, I'm the teacher, and I'm saying, you tell me what the equation is. Many people are going to do in their mind to get the summation of 120 by different numbers. But every time you give me a number, then the one that I'm looking for, it's going to be wrong. And that's kind of like when it comes to our history. Everybody think they know the answer, but they don't know the equation, how you got the answer. So they just want to chime off like they got it down, got the game down pat. Who y'all fooling? So now you giving me your answer, and I keep giving it back to you. Wrong. You wrong. You got to try to figure out what it is. But if I say and put up on the board and I do something like this, if I put 60,443 and the answer is 120,886, I think you can pretty much figure out how to get the 120,886. That's the information in the equation that you're filling in. When it first looked like this, right? When it looked like that, you just could put any numbers. But once I start giving you a little bit, you get that. So now, when you start doing more due diligence on your own, you fill it in the rest, and you end up solving how to get the 120,886. Correct? That's how it's gonna work, right? That's the importance of it, right? See, everybody want to say, I got the answer, but you don't know how the hell you got the equation to get to the answer. See, that's because why? A lot of our people got some self-loathing, hatred, because other people told you how bad you are. How, as a people in the group, and they propagandize and put it in the medias and put it in the paper and sensationalize it to the fact that it convinced you that your people ain't worthy of knowing about, having cared for, or none of these things. You find everything better on the other side of the damn track, right? That's how it is, right? But y'all kind of forget, and see, that's the thing when you have shows like this here, again, the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business now for 11 years. Never heard of me? It is what it is, right? So let me ask you a question. You ever seen the movie called Three the Hard Way? You ever seen Three the Hard Way, right? Anybody ever seen the movie Three the Hard Way, right? With Jim Brown, Jim Kelly, and what was the other brother name? Fred, was it Fred Williams? No, what Fred Williams? Wait. Jim Brown, Jim Kelly. Was it Fred? No, what's that brother name? I can't think of his name on top. But y'all, somebody who knows might tell me in the chat. Anyway, but that's the point, right? Now, what was the motive of Three the Hard Way? What was the motive to that movie? Anybody know? Does anybody know? What was the motive to Three the Hard Way? When the agenda by them cats you see on your screen there had a target group, and they wanted to do something to, again, they said Washington, Chicago, Detroit. Now, if I start saying that, what resonates in your mind, right? Somebody targeting something. And there was something about in this movie that they tried to lay out that they had Mr. What they call him? What was his name? Feathers, right? When he was sitting there telling him about the water reclamation and what they wanted to do with that substance he had in his hand, that he wanted to do something to help, get this problem out of their hair, right? And so that's what happens when we start looking at stuff as our people. We don't be looking at the fact that we think things that just somehow magically delicious, like Lucky Charms, don't went away. But the truth of the matter is, no. And he got so many different people with different philosophies and teachings and things because they believe, well, I went to go get higher learning, which makes me that I'm above the fray of this mindset that it has no benefit to me. But just because the elephant is in the room and you don't acknowledge it, don't mean it ain't there. You just living around it, moving around it as if it don't have no significance in one's life. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm talking about here as we finna move forward, right? Let's just look at the fact that, let's say just recently we seen this here, right? We seen the headlines that talked about this, right? Bronny James, LeBron James' son, suffers cardiac arrest during USC practice. Here's what we know so far. Let me say that one more again. Bronny James, LeBron James' son, suffers cardiac arrest during USC practice. Here's what we know of it, right? Now, some of us got children. Some of us are somebody's child. Some of us could be grandparents and so forth. Some of us remember the days we've been around. This is unheard of, right? It is very unheard of for somebody to be so young. Now, I'm not going to say there have never been some incidents of things that could possibly trigger something like that. But it was so rare that it's like, this is a person who's an older person. This is, when you heard cardiac arrest, this is somebody who's older. But as time has gone on and the additives and so-called preservatives that they've been putting in the foods that we eat, we've seen that it went from the old person way to down now it's all to the damn babies. And we as the people are not supposed to kind of question and say, what the hell is really going down here? Is anything going down? Well, let me show you this report they came up with and we come right back. Check this out.
The son of an NBA superstar was rushed to the hospital. Bronny James, son of LeBron James, suffered a cardiac arrest after a basketball workout at USC yesterday. The family has released a statement on Twitter saying the 18-year-old is being treated at a hospital and is no longer in the ICU.
Somebody to probably put that back up there because that's going to do that, right? So as you heard the reports there said, right? They said that Bronny James had cardiac arrest, right? Cardiac arrest, right? Now, when you talk about cardiac arrest, you're talking about somebody having a sudden cessation of the heartbeat, right? Meaning a heartbeat stopped, cardiac function, resulting in the loss of the effective circulation of one's blood and the pumping of the heart. Once that happens, you're already on your way, right? You already going to the other side, right? So we have to ask, an 18-year-old who comes from, we're going to say, from the outer exterior, because today, back in the day when somebody looked a certain way, you knew they were healthy. Today, people look healthy, but what may be inside may not be correlated to what you see on the outside, right? And some people think that some people, just because they're, fat or obese or whatever, think that they're unhealthy. But it could just be hereditary, or come from a bunch of people who built like that. So that means their body built for them to be like that. So don't necessarily mean that, but some people equate that that's what that is, right? But when you see somebody who comes from a pedigree who excel to the fact that he wants to promote himself as the king, there will be some questions about that. But as a specimen in the game, and it coming from the lineage of that, and if you look at his mother and father, you would say, we got some good genes there, right? So maybe it could have been something. Again, some of us grew up, we had heart murmurs and brothers and sisters and family members who might have had heart murmurs. And they say when you get it when you're little, you can grow to, it could grow out of a heart murmur, right? But we've seen a big uptick of these things happening. And I guess some people feel like if we talk about these things, or what could be have contributed to it, that somehow that they may say this is misinformation, right? They may say that. So We have to be mindful, right? So I want you to pay attention to how I'm going to use these words as I talk about this, right? Because they don't really want us talking about now. We could talk about the cardiac. We also have to look at some other things as well. Now, okay, so let's look at this second report of what they say or what took place and be right back.
Bronny James, who is going to be a freshman basketball player at USC, suffered cardiac arrest while at a practice yesterday. Let me read a statement that was just provided to us by the family. It says, yesterday while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition and no longer in the ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for the James family, and we will update the media when there is more information. LeBron and Savannah, the parents of Bronny, wish to publicly send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes. So cardiac arrest while at a practice yesterday. Importantly and crucially, before we have any more discussion, resting comfortably, no longer in the ICU. Let's get right to CNN Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Sanjay, you've now seen the statement. Andy Scholes, I'm told, is with us as well. Sanjay, you've now seen this statement. Give us a sense of what you see here, what this means to you.
Well, so he's 18 years old. Sounds like he had this sudden cardiac arrest. There was a very fast, it sounds like, resuscitation, taken to the hospital. But as you point out, given the fact that he was in the intensive care unit, but was then able to leave the intensive care unit and is on a general care floor, that is obviously the most important sort of headline there. Obviously, the cardiac arrest, what exactly triggered that, what caused that, that's what the doctors are going to be sort of investigating over the next several days. This is rare. We know that a few thousand people who are young athletes do suffer sudden cardiac arrests every year. There's all sorts of different reasons that can happen, electrical abnormalities of the heart. We know, for example, with Damar Hamlin, it was related to something known as cordis commotio, which is a blow to the chest wall. We don't know what happened specifically with Bronny James, but in any given year, this does happen thousands of times. Sometimes it can be a structural abnormality of the heart that was never really recognized until now. Wasn't recognized until someone actually first has a problem with it. It could be an electrical problem with the heart. Again, that was unrecognized till now. So we'll get more of those details. But again, the most important thing, thankfully, is that he appears to have been resuscitated successfully. And in terms of how doctors are looking at him now, they think that he is stable enough to not need intensive care at this point, which is also good news.
I must have got some technical difficulty. It's really kind of lagging it up back there, right? All right, so we see that, as you heard that report there, they're talking about that, again, he had collapsed during practice, okay? Collapsed during practice, and they had to resuscitate him, okay? That and all that said right there, basically, you're saying that somebody passed away. Just like the football player, Hamlin, he was passed away out there, right? And they talk about, well, his was based to the blow to the chest of the wall there, right? Okay. Could there be some other contributing factors? We hear that this Sanjay Gupta, right? He's the medical doctor that you heard them speaking, and that the fact that he went to intensive care unit, which is how serious that was, and to revive him, I think they also did the defibrillator. I think they did, right? But the ironic thing is, at this particular school in itself, this is actually 1 year. There was a year before there had been a young man who this happened to him, and I'll show you as we go more into this. But yeah, think about that. You're 18-year-old, from your knowledge, you never knew anything about having to deal with their heart. I've been playing sports pretty much since they've been walking. I'm pretty sure there's been physicals and everything when you had to go to school. At least I know when we went to school, had to have at least a yearly physical before you get to return back to school, right? So I don't know if that has changed, right? So you have to say, is there anything else that could have intervened? Because we hear could be electrical problems, right? There could be some abnormalities, right? But then he said the word triggered. Yeah, maybe something could trigger that, right? Something contribute, because these things that they keep saying that we have these benefits from being of the original sin of this nation. So there's some things genetically that is passed down from in our genes based on the trauma that go from generation to generation, right? So they were trying to say that may have maybe come out of that too, or is there something more recent of things, of events that then took place for many of us now after the I guess say the catastrophic part of after March 13, 2020. Y'all remember that date, March 13, 2020, the announcement that the country was going to be shut down and everybody had to go in. So they said ever since from that date, there's been a big uptick in cardiac arrest when it comes to young people. Again, we all seen with the Dan Hamlin, what happened to him. That was on the Monday Night Football, I think that was, and brought attention. And then there was, it had been stories and stories and stories and stories. And then we hear now in a lot of our families, I don't know about you per se, but myself, I can say that people all of a sudden in my family done had bad hearts. Now, some people say it could be our genetic disposition. It could be, our diets and just poor health and all those things. But I know there's something, there's possibility that could have intervened. That it's possible that some things could have had intervened. And so they got it where we're kind of handcuffed, but we can't really say it, right? But we have to kind of look at it, because if that be the case, there's some people who took, well, I'm going to call it this, liquid blanket 19. How about that? I'm going to say liquid blanket 19. Mr. Blow Your Mind, why do you call it liquid blanket? Well, as the title of this show is about what original sin benefits. Well, go back to the original sin and go back to the story. Well, they got several stories, and there's the story we believe in, there's the story they sell. Part of that story that they sell is, prior to them bringing us here, right, that there was people who was already here that they calling them native peoples, and that they said when they sat down, talked with them, and handed them some blankets, right? Remember that part? They gave them some blankets. And then them blankets, what did they tell you they gave them, right? So we're going to call this liquid blanket 19. Okay, you follow what I'm saying now? Liquid blanket 19. Okay, that's what we're going to call this, liquid blanket. So maybe it has something to do with the liquid blanket. No? I don't know. I remember his father, there was a big deal with the pops. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Be right back. Check this out.
That's a conversation that my family and I will have, and pretty much probably keep that to a private thing. Obviously, I've seen, Adam had his comments about, the vaccination and whatnot, but things like that, when you decide to do something, I think that's a conversation between you and your family, and not for everybody. So I'll keep it that way.
All right, so we back, right? So you heard his father say when he was being pressured about, well, you gonna take the liquid blanket 19? He's like, well, you know what I'm saying? I want to keep this private about me and my family. Now, you heard it, right? About him and his family. And that he didn't want to be used in a way that, because if he takes the liquid blanket, then everybody else say, well, I take the liquid blanket, right? So he wanted to keep it to a private affair between him and his family, and whether they had, wanted to do this or not, but they wanted to keep the, confidentiality between them, which is fine, right? That's their business, right? I got a message right here. Let me see something. I got a message right here. Original Aboriginal of knowledge told our people not to take the liquid blanket. Was afraid and did it anyway. Okay. Right? Under the circumstance, bruh, some people were put in a rock in a hard place. Livelihoods depended on it, couldn't afford not to, and there's a lot of contributing factors that some people did, and then again, like I said in the beginning of the top of the show, which is when you say history and start talking about slavery, and everybody come back and start saying how they know the answer. Like remember this? Right? We'll go back. Right? As I gave my analogy to this here, the equation, right? When you put that equation on the board, that's the answer. Everybody know the answer. They can see the answer, so everybody believe they know the truth. I know this story. I know. But I told you, you don't know the equation, how I got there, right? You don't know the equation until you start learning about it. Now you can figure out what the equation, how to answer. So when people get to the mindset that they think they know it, then what end up happening? You drop down your defense mechanism. You keep forgetting that only thing has evolved is the game. Same, what is it, SOS, same old, just reheated. Well, that's all it is. Same old, just reheated. And so if you don't catch on to it and you take away from that which you think doesn't exist anymore, who benefits from that? Like to say benefit, who's benefiting from that? So in the case here, we see that the father said that they were going to keep that to themselves. They won't, do what they do as a family. And okay. So people kind of respecting that was like, all right, we understand how you dealing with that. That's the way you got to do it. You got to do it that way. So some people commended him on that. But then what ended up happening, y'all? What ended up happening? Let me show you. Be right back.
But I think at the end of the day, you're always trying to figure out ways that you can always be available and protect one another.
In a win for the NBA, LeBron James and the Lakers are heading toward 100% vaccination. But it was the cloud of speculation around the admittedly vaccine-skeptical megastar that fueled conversation for months.
But after doing my research and things of that nature, I felt like it was best suited for not only me, but for my family and for my friends.
The league confirms its vaccination rate is above 90%. But with no mandatory NBA policy, some cities have filled the void. In New York and San Francisco, home players must be vaccinated to compete indoors. The regulations affecting the Knicks, Nets, and Warriors squads. Golden State forward Andrew Wiggins says he's not currently vaccinated and could miss half the season and millions in paychecks.
You stand to lose a lot of money.
And it's my problem, not yours.
A video of Orlando Magic player Jonathan Isaac discussing his rationale for not rolling up his sleeve has been viewed more than 3 million times.
Yeah, but with me having COVID in the past and having antibodies with my current age group and physical fitness level, it's not necessarily a fear of mine.
Of course, health experts recommend the vaccine for healthy adults regardless of fitness level or past infection, partly to stop community spread of COVID. One all-star swept up in the vaccine controversy is Kyrie Irving of the Nets, who hasn't revealed his status, but did miss media day for health and safety protocols. LeBron says his decision will not turn him into a campaigner for unvaccinated players.
I don't feel like, for me personally, that I should get involved in what people should do for their bodies and their livelihoods.
And there are consequences for those players who choose not to get vaccinated. We talk about pay, Craig, and the reality is the teams are going to decide whether or not to dock those players who can't make it onto the court. No doubt they'll be subject to more tests as well, and it is possible they won't even be able to eat or travel in the same area as their vaccinated teammates. Craig?
All right. Sam Brock, forcing my...
We're back, right? So, as you see on your screen there, what is happening? Right? You end up doing it, right? Now, I'm not sitting here and telling you whether this is what happened and this is it. We just have to say, because there's things when you go out here and read, you'll find that they said the uptick post what we say again? Blanket, right? Liquid blanket 19. Post liquid blanket 19, an uptick in youngs, teens between the ages of, I think 20. I think they had like the 24 or something, but it was going under that 24. Because matter of fact, to even show you that, so we see that he ended up. Go ahead, go put that back up on there. You know, we see that he ended up go ahead and he did it, right? And then maybe it was Kyrie, right? So as you heard him originally say about him and his family, so we have to assume, did the family all take part of it? It's possible they did. It's none of our business. But we just have to say, because again, when we see somebody that young at 18 and to have cardiac arrest, not saying that it can't happen, but the rarity of that should be alarm bells. And again, that there were so many, some people, it was mandatory to have to, in order for them to return back and all this stuff. So again, speculations, but we can't really talk about that, right? But then just 1 year prior to what happened with Bronny James, well, there was a young man that at the same school. I don't know if y'all knew about that. The USC five-star freshman Vince Chukwu sidelined indefinitely after suffering cardiac arrest this summer. Let me say that one more again. USC five-star freshman Vincent Chukwu sidelined indefinitely after suffering cardiac arrest this summer. So there was another young man that was on the team last year. The same thing happened to him. Okay? So, again, five-star, top athletes. It would be different if somebody who was struggling and trying to be an athlete and working from out of that state of, trying to become one, and that happens. But somebody, again, who's been a thoroughbred, running and jumping all their life. I know when we was coming up, that's all we did. We jumping fence, jumping roofs, jumping on cars, racing each other, playing football all day, basketball all day, baseball all day, chasing each other. You understand? All day, all summer, we talking about with shit to 100 degrees outside. You understand? And not one time can I recall any of my partners or anybody from the hood falling out, cardiac arrest. That was something that was not, again, that was more of a person who's older, not younger. Now, when younger people are having it, that got to be concerned for us as people. We can't just act like, you understand? What's causing this? So they want to say, again, maybe it was unchecked, unfounded. LeBron and them got too much money. What kind of doctors you got? I'm pretty sure they're trying to keep you in the best. Look, you when you were 20th season, right? So what kind of position they care for you to keep you making that dollars, right? So I don't know. So we have to say what may have possibly happened. We're just saying it's a possibility. We're not condemning, right? right? And then we just had this last week when you had this individual, right? He talked about it too, right? Right? So I ain't gonna say that, right? RJ Jr. says that he was misunderstood after suggesting that the liquid blanket 19 may have been ethically targeted. Now, remember, now, did y'all hear that when RFK Jr. was talking about that? That misunderstood and suggested that the liquid blanket 19 might have been ethically targeted. He talked about black people and Caucasians, right? Were the ones being targeted because what he was saying, and that certain people was excluded, right? Right now, that was him saying that. Now, you know, one thing is when you talk about that liquid blanket 19, I may come back to that point. Because we're gonna go down the road on this, right? Because again, we're gonna talk about what original sin and the benefits that they keep saying we benefiting from, right? It's always been a fight to survive and strive when somebody's always, again, their whole agenda has been focused. Now, that may say everyone. That don't mean all of yous, right? Right? But there's enough of them that, you know, again, April 1st, 2014, I did a video called Extinction of the White Race. Approaching. Okay? And in that video, talked about the coming demographic catastrophe that was going to happen with white folks because they were not having babies. That video went 300,000. Remember where I am today. I can't break 3,000 subscribers. So if I can't get 100 views, so how the hell did I get 300,000? Oh no. What I said was some real shit. And people say, oh, wait, whoa. Hey, shut him up. You understand? Shut him up. So that was not me praising or saying, no, that's just what it was being shown. And so now, looking back now, it's all 10 years ago. I've been down for 10 years ago now. And if you know the numbers and know what's happening, and there's a group of our children right now that would be the majority over them. When it comes to, they say, the browning of America and so forth, well, they know that 2030, that number going to change, where they're going to be a minority group. That's what the whole thing about that affirmative action and white people being minorities and changing the status, because if you'd have kept it that way, and it was already when white folks were already being, I guess you could say, on the target list, can't use affirmative action because they were white. But now that they fell into the minority group, now you don't need that anymore. That's what they say, right? Even though that white women were the most beneficiaries of it. But anyway, so yeah, some people they're gonna get out of here. They can't take this because they don't want to hear that, right? But what I'm saying is this. So if that be the case, there's a liquid blanket 19, and there's people who saying, there's studies out here who saying that it's possible that they could have something to do with it, but nobody's gonna admit to that, right? And so to show that, to say, wow, Mr. Blow Your Mind, you're saying those things, I don't know, you know. Well, let me take you a little history class. Let me take you something. Let me take you back to 1917, right? Let me show you something, 1917, right? It's called, in 1917, spy target was Black America. Say that one more again. In 1917, spy target was Black America. Yeah, right? Yeah, 1719, right? There was an individual named Colonel Ralph Van Dieman. Some say Demon, but D-Man, right? He created the Army Black Spy Network in 1917. Now, according, he was continued to influence spying in American citizens until the death of him in 1952. The commercial peer review of this intelligence file that's going to show you as we speak. Now, again, the spy system, they said, was created because they were always questioning the loyalty of Black America. Let me say that one more again. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? You know, there's this whole saying, I hate you more because you know I done you wrong, right? When you do somebody wrong and then they amongst you and they don't be saying nothing, you hate them because you know when they look at you, they know who you really is. And so you have to somehow reverse psychology and make it seem like they the problem instead of you being the problem. So in this case, they made a system that was to question the loyalties of who Black Americans, and that went on for generations. Again, right? For generations. This was created in May 3rd of 1917, is what they say. And that it started off from the military and created a department that became the Military Intelligence Division. Okay? These are the things, these are the history, these are some of the things going back to that equation. When you don't know, you don't know. After declaring war on Germany, the United States needed an internal security network. An army would provide it. Now, the Secret Service and the Justice Department were infant in the Bureau of Investigations. They were too small at that time. Okay, this is before there was FBI. And when they did create them, they were too small and they was too inexperienced to handle the large, what they would say, counter-espionage task that they were seeming to have. And so they picked this Colonel Van Diemen and set him out to, I guess he was trying to define which groups pose a serious threat to the country's security. Now, that was his task. Now, he's going to sit down and evaluate, now, who's our biggest threat in this country, right? So in June of 1917, it is said that he said accordingly that the United States faced 4 principal domestic enemies. One was the international workers of World War I, which is a forerunner of the FLL-CIO, who they say at that time was opposing the war. They're saying those who were opponents of the draft, okay, and socialists. And then lastly, the 4th one was Negro unrest. Let me say that one more again. In 1917, to June 2nd, it was said that this Van Diemen had said that there were 4 principal domestic enemies in this country. One, he called it, was the international workers of World War I. He said they were a forerunner for the FLO-CIO, which is that union, right? Who they said at that time they had opposed the war. And it was those who were the opponents of the draft and socialists. And then lastly was Negro unrest. Okay. Now they said the racial unrest and violence disgust him personally, right? He said, now you got to remember, 1917, we talking about what Negro unrest was it? Well, there was a lot of incidents that was at that particular time that is not, again, going back to in the beginning of the show, right? When you're talking about the equation. You know the answer when you say, well, you was a slave in this country and your slavery happened to you and Jim Crow happened to you and civil rights to you. I know all that. But when I say the equation, tell me how you got the equation, you can't answer it. You have no interest in it. Right? And so, based on this so-called racial unrest and violence, and then he got stationed in the Philippines in 1906. He wrote this so-called letter, notes of riots by Black soldiers he was talking about in Brownsville, Texas. He said that there was, white people ended up getting killed, and then there was the riots that happened in Atlanta, and then there was, fires and people being raped and tortured. So there was a lot going on, okay? And there was also similar violence that they were saying that there was a big concern that there was a Black militancy growing out. This is 1917, y'all. We're not talking about 1960. We're not talking about 1960. We're talking about 1917, okay? And so July 24th of that same year, 1917, it is said he wrote a letter saying that he called a group. He said there was a group that came to his attention. It was called the Black Nation. And so quoting in this letter that the Black Nation had told him is that the Germans has not done us any harm. Say they were saying that those, again, some of those of us who had grandparents, great-grandparents, possibly that was in the war, and they talked about when they went to Germany, a lot of them ended up staying in Germany. Well, you know, your grandfather, you know, you end up seeing them, but I'm saying a lot of those soldiers end up staying there because they felt like as much as they sell to us about how, you know, that side that they hate Black people so much, but a lot of them found a little comfort in ways in Germany. Matter of fact, remember in the beginning of the show where you hear about him saying when World War I and the one was out there and the white women and the soldier was telling them they had tails, but that's what he was talking about, right? That's what he was talking about that time, right? And then how got the brother to eat the bananas and walk around like a monkey, and then they did something dirty to him, and he didn't know what he was doing. And that's what those people who be out here be cooning and samboing up, placating to the other masses of people like everything funny. But in this case, this was something real, supposed to be tangible. So this Black Nation that told that the Germans had not done anything or any harm to them, and they cannot treat us any meaner than you have. Meaning, in a country that they're going to fight in the war, that back home, when they came back home, they said, well, shit, we got treated better when we was in Germany than we were being here. Matter of fact, if y'all ever heard the story with Muhammad Ali after he won his gold medal, remember he said that after winning the gold medal, I'm proud being American in this country, had his gold medal, went to try to get himself a hamburger at a joint and try to go in there, and the waitress told him he couldn't eat in there. He's like, well, why you can't eat in here? He said, we don't serve niggas. He said, well, you know, he said, I don't see one in here, but if, you know, I just want a hamburger. He said, you know, I am. You know what? That don't matter. We don't serve niggas anyway. So supposedly Muhammad Ali took that medal to the river and threw it in the river because it didn't mean nothing to him, because he realized, like, wait a minute, I went here, represented my country, and come back, and I can't even participate in nothing. So that's how they were feeling in 1917, coming from Germany. They said they could go up there in Germany, they were kind of accepting them. But here, it wasn't the same. So in the letter, he goes on, he talks about how he told, now this is what he says. Now, we don't know, this is what they say. He said, well, beware when you train 50,000 to 60,000 of the Negro race. That's what he said, that they said. Beware, right? Beware. So they took that as a threat. And they thought about that. Shit, we train, you know, right? It may turn against us, right? So, okay. So with that being said, all right. So then you see there's a lot of sproutings of going off was happening. You got East St. Louis, people getting killed, blacks and whites. They're getting the National Guards coming in from Illinois. In Texas, Waco, Texas, you got stuff jumping off. All this is in them early teens, right? This was in the early teens, right? Now this is setting up before you get to when you call COINTELPRO and all that's happening before Hoover. Matter of fact, Hoover is recruited by him. Did you know this is where they got Hoover from? Same cat that's created to make this Black Spy Network, MID, is going to recruit when Hoover was I think he was he a law clerk or something like that, and he got him, right? So, Mr. Blowman, what is all this about? Oh, I got a message. Hold on. I got a message. Hold on. We Boogie, yes, on paper they are U.S. enemies, but it's complex. My understanding is Hitler was a dark man. I even seen photos. Okay. You remember when that whole thing came out with Deshaun Jackson, And remember that whole thing about like kind of like what happened with Kyrie when Kyrie posted Hebrews and Negroes and Hebrews. Remember what Deshaun Jackson posted was out of a page and said the things that was Hitler supposed to have said. Remember on the show, I showed it, right? I didn't do it for this show, but I showed it, right? And it had said that when the whites in America wake up to find out that they tricked you, that you've been mistreating God's people all this time, a fright is going to come over you when you realize that you've been killing and maiming and disenfranchising, doing the people who's in the book, those people. And so they all discredit that and say, no, that's not true, right? And as to what you're saying, Wee Boogie, it was said it's possibly that may have Moorish blood in them, right? But we also know he was also part of that because he was also part of the Rothschilds too, because maybe Daddy might have been, but they also got another story. But anyway, it's possible, right? It's possible. Everything's possible. So they done buried a lot of stuff, right? But that's for those of us who are interested in things. A lot of people have no interest. Again, the equation is, I have no interest in it, so what the hell do I care about it, right? I don't care. So anyway, they go on because there's so much going on when it comes to this kind of riot and stuff. And again, he said the Black Nation told him, y'all can't keep treating us like this because now we're trained. And so we start seeing in them early 1917, 18, and 1919 riots, a lot of stuff is popping off. Now, everybody was talking about the 60s, but they don't go back before that. Our people always been getting in. Think about it. 1917, you ain't too far off. You're like 50 years ago, basically from 1865, right? Not too long from 1865. So what ended up happening is they start creating these offices, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, St. Louis, New Orleans, San Francisco, Los Angeles. They start putting them out. They end up creating, they say, about 304 intelligence offices. And this is by 1960 now. Okay? So 1960. So let me show you something here. Okay, I got another message here. God's jewelry. All right. All right. I feel you on that one. Right? So let me show you. Okay, matter of fact, wait a minute. Let me show up. I didn't even show you what he looked like, huh? Let me show you what he looked like. I didn't even show y'all what he looked like, right? That's him right there. That's that that's that Colonel D-Man, right? Van D-Man, right? That's his name. Right? Van D-Man. That's the cat that's going to create that original black spy network. Okay? Now, as I told you, he's going to be the one that's going to end up recruiting, that's going to go get Hoover. They said Hoover also was half black, right? There's some family that went out here and got the records and traces that he's in there and he was passing. Ain't that something? Sometimes ain't nobody hate worse than your own damn family, right? Let me say that one more again. They said there's a possibility that Hoover was passing. Right? He was passing. So nobody hate worse more than somebody who don't want to be and want to prove to the other side that they loyal. So anyway, this is cat right here. This is his Van Diemen, right? Now, let me show you these connections. Again, the show is whose original sin benefits, right? Who benefits from these original sins that y'all keep claiming that we benefited so well when we've always been the target of shit? So you ever heard of Robert Moulton? Right? You ever heard this cat right here before? Robert Moulton. You ever heard of him? He was actually the successor at the Tuskegee Institute. Came aboard and he was, now what I'm going to show you here, this is what they say now. This is what they said. You do your research, this is what they're going to say about him, right? Now the individual right here, was actually the assistant to whom? Booker T. Washington. Yeah, Booker T. Washington. Now, Booker T. Washington, a lot of people, again, they was always saying that, this philosophy that they had back in there. Booker T. Washington was like, well, shit, don't worry about that political shit. Just let us take care of the business of our agriculture and all that stuff, and everything else will fall in this place, right? Someday, there was back and forth about stuff. But this individual here, this Moulton, actually became recruited and worked for the Black Spy Network. Yeah, he recruited him and put him inside with the Black Spy Network. And he got right next to who? Booker T. Washington, right? He got right next to Booker T. Washington. Okay. Right? Now remember what we was before, right? Right? We're going to connect all these dots here, right? We're going to connect these dots. Now, when you talk about Tuskegee experiment, right? We all kind of know about the Tuskegee experiment, right? To some degree, everybody kind of know. Now, remember, Booker T was already gone by that time, but became the heir apparent was this individual here, his assistant, right? His assistant, the R. Moulton. And so, what ended up happening, y'all? Well, let's see. Let's get into that, right? What happened though? I'm gonna show y'all something here. Hold on, let me set it up, right? Let me show it up, right? Let me set it up. Hold on. Let me show y'all something. All right. So did you know that the nurse that was one that was facilitating, as you see on your screen there, was Nurse Eunice Rivers. She was an African-American nurse who was training at Tuskegee University. As you see on your screen, she moved in from John Andrews Hospital to work with Dr. Clark and Dr. Vandenleer when the study began, and she gradually became the chief continuity person, and was around for all 40 years of the experiment. During the Great Depression, Africans who could not afford the health care joined Miss Rivers Lodge, where they would obtain free physical exams, Tuskegee University, along with hot meals and rides to and from the clinic, right? Now that's a black woman. It's a black woman working with the experiment. Working with the experiment, right? And so she was the only one. They had another cat too. They had another cat there too. His name there, right? You see on your screen there, right? Eugene Dibble. He was the head of the John Andrews Hospital. Wrote to the president of the institute and persuaded him to hold the experiment on the campuses because it would be a good opportunity to train the students and interns. Fregray believed Dr. Dibble was not guilty for conducting the experiment because he himself is just made as a victim as the other men. So what they do, they put it on him too. But you was a willing participant. And those who remember the show that I did when I showed you the letter that was from Margaret Sanger, and she was talking about how the reverends, right? And matter of fact, one of the recipients of the award was Dr. Martin Luther King, right? Yeah, I don't know if he ever knew that who Margaret Sanger was, or maybe he did, because again, it's our facilitating that, using them to facilitate. I got a message here. Hold on 1 second, y'all. 1870. Oh, let me put these on the screen. Okay, I'm sorry about that, wee boogie. 1872 to 1942 was World War Zero. This was the conquest of America or the United States versus United States Republic. Both entities still exist. Wee Boogie in them books, right? I'd rather have Wee Boogie come on as a guest or come on here and spit some of that lit for everybody, right? So with that being said, so we got people of our own cut, supposedly, is help facilitating and doing these things. Do you not know who they said was the Liquid Blanket 19? who did they say came up with let's say what is that, the serum? Yeah, let's say it that way. Who came up with the serum? Wasn't it a black woman? Wasn't it Kizzy Colbert or Colbert? I think that's her name. Kizzy Corbett. Ain't they attributed to her as the one who came up with the serum? Is that who they say? And they saying it's her, right? Y'all can look that up. KIZZMEKIACORBETT. Then they attributed her to the one that she came up with. And so when we go back and we look in the history as the indicator, right? Sometimes you can see some things or something again. It's like going back and again, as I put up on the board, if I go on the board and tell you today, right, let's talk to somebody who brand new. You just born in the last 20, 30 years, and I throw this up on the screen on you, right? I throw this up on the screen. Take We Boogie down right quick. Take We Boogie down for a second. I put that up on the screen, and I say, answer that. Give me the equation. I'm going to have a lot of people give me all kind of different numbers to figure that out. Everybody not going to give me the same numbers. But until I give you part of the equation, then you know to get the exact number. That's giving you enough information so that now you can go figure out the rest of the information. I hope you follow what I'm trying to tell you. Are you getting what I'm laying down? Right? Are you getting what I'm laying down? So again, if I give you just that part of it, you're gonna give me all kind of numbers. But once I give you this part to it, yeah, give me that part. Yeah, right there. So if I give you this part to it, you can answer it now. You can answer the equation now. You get what I'm saying? Now you can connect the dots. And that's been the problem with us. When it comes to history, other people, they relish and know those who in the know and want to know, and there's still gonna be some dumbfounded ones in every group. You understand? So it ain't always just like you can blanket the whole group. They all no. Those who want to know and think the importance of it, they're gonna know, and the rest of you will be like this. You just say, I know the answer. You just got the general understanding. That's okay. I know the answer, but you don't know how you got the damn answer. You just know you got the answer. Oh, I know slavery. I know slavery, civil rights. I know what Jim Crow is, how to get there, how they do it. What's the ins and outs? You don't know. Don't care to know. All right? So going back to that part there, so right, so you have, again, you have her, Eunice Rivers. She was part of that Tuskegee. You had Eugene Dibble, right? Who was part of that, right? And then I thought something a little, now this one here, I can't, this one here is just for food for thought. This ain't a certainty, but I just want to show you something. So I found there was another individual in there, and his name is, you see that name on there? Can y'all see his name on there? I see a man in there, name is Dr. John R. Heller. Heller. Do it ring a bell? Heller. All right. Maybe Heller rings a bell. Right? Maybe Heller rings a bell. Wee Boogie, you out there? Heller rings a bell? All right. So anyway, he was part of that too. As you see in there, they talk about how he was under that Dr. Vella, the same thing they got her, right? He was assistant at Tuskegee Studies. Heller was in charge of making sure no one found out about penicillin. See, all you had to do is get some penicillin to clean it right up, right? What was hell in it, right? Keeping it from getting it, right? So somebody got the cure, kind of like that movie. What was that movie with Morgan Freeman played in with the Dustin Hoffman? Outbreak. Remember that? They had the outbreak, and then everything was chaotic and everywhere. You know, they're trying to figure out, right? It was about the monkeys and so forth. But then I'd be damned when Dustin Hoffman woman got it. Came to Morgan Freeman, give me the juice. Give me the damn juice. Right? Give me the damn juice. And Morgan like, gave him the juice, didn't he? Right? So that means they already had it. It was already there. Huh? So that means it was already made, and then okay, anyway. But this cat here, right? He was holding the penicillin, and he was alive when they said the study was brought to the media attention in 1972. He defended the study and made the people believe that they were doing nothing wrong, right? Okay. Some people believe that, you know what I'm saying? Some of that stigmatization rubbed up, black people all dirty and the disease written and all that. Yeah, but see, again, you got your answers, but you don't know how shit got there. You don't know how it got there. You just believe because you got the answers, right? But let me show you something with this here, right? Let me see. What happened to him? We don't got them. I may have to take. Hold on. Wait a minute. I don't even see them in here now. Hold on. Okay. Somebody try to take that out of there. Okay. So how about this? Let me grab this right quick. Let me get. Ain't gonna take 2 minutes, but we're gonna take it. Let me grab this and put it in here because y'all need to see this. Now remember his name. Let me see. Wait. Let me make sure. Do we got it? Do we got it? Because I don't see it. Like they've been snatching stuff out as I go in. That's a new move I see. All right, so I'm gonna put this clock up here. It's gonna take me less. It ain't gonna take the whole 2 minutes. Let me grab this and put this in and be right back. Hold on, y'all, and let you get some little traveling music. Matter of fact, hold on. Go and put the traveling because I could just go ahead and grab it, and we could just do it. Because I want people to see this. I want you to see this. I put that on. Put that in. Get it. All right, we back, right? Now that's not the one we want to show. Now remember I told you, I'll take that down because we're gonna come to that later. We'll come back to that one. So remember one of the cats in there name is who? His name is what? John Heller, right? John Heller, right? Now, again, I did some research, I looked, I didn't have enough time to really do the due diligence I really needed to do. So I'm just saying hypothetically, and I was just kind of wondering because we're kind of on this topic, and I said, well, damn, this dude here was tied to this here. Now you heard as they showed you on the screen, he said there was nothing wrong with what they were doing, right? So and I said, damn, wait a minute. Heller. Where I remember goddamn Heller from? I remember somebody Heller. I remember Easy E and AIDS, and I'm like, Heller. Goddamn Heller. Shit, Heller. Fuck. Heller? Did he kill? But I don't know. It was always mysterious what happened with Easy anyway, right? And, something went to the White House, and I said, I don't know. I'm going fishing, right? I'm just going fishing. I'm hypotheticalizing. I'm not saying for certainty. It's ironic, right? It's just ironic, right? Yes. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I don't know. We don't know. We don't know everything, right? We just kind of go through and kind of figure out maybe some things make sense, right? Right? So anyway, you think about that. Y'all think about that one. You think about that, right? So yeah, remember that the individual that was that was part of that network of them, right, was next to him, right, which was next to Booker T. Washington, and it was this individual here who we can't get next to, right, Marcus Garvey, right. Marcus Garvey was following Booker T. Again, for those who be coming telling us about Pan-Africanism, and well, he was studying Booker T. He got that from him, right? But that part kind of get lost. That part get lost in it, and because Booker T. Washington dies before Garvey gets here, that's kind of thrown in the wind, right? Thrown in the wind. But see, now those that talk about the Back to Africa movement, and they'll say how how bought the boats and people supposed to go back to Africa and all that. Well, they had this dude that was on him too, Moulton. It was on them too, right? And when they talk about the people, they're saying that how to get him back out. But the thing I want to show is, sometimes in that network of things, people can be in different parts of it and not know that they all in the same ass shit. You understand what I'm saying? Some people can be in some shit and not know that you in the same shit that they in because it's secretive that nobody knows who the fuck everybody is, right? So the thing I want to say is this. Okay, some people think that when Marcus Garvey did what he did, he was the originator of that, right? Like he originated the Go Back to Africa movement, right? A lot of people say he was the first one to do it. Well, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Was he? Was he the first one to do it? Some people think he was, but again, the equation is: do you know the answer? Do you know? You think you know, right? Ain't not everything for certain. You got to do. Everybody got to do their due diligence, do their research, come to your own understanding. It ain't to sit here and believe everything that I tell you. I guess I'm go look and see what I'm saying if it's true or not. It ain't for you to say it be some Ola Salima or no. I'm the flicker on the stove. I'm just here so you can like yourself. You know what I'm saying? You get a little food for thought, right? So let me show you something here, right? So if I say, let's see. If I show you an individual and let's see, if I show you an individual and tell you that 100 years before there was Marcus Garvey, somebody had already did what Marcus Garvey did. Right? If I tell you 100 years before there, matter of fact, 100 years before this spy network, right? So, the spy network is created. So I got an individual named, well, this may not even what he looked like, but you ever heard of a man called Paul Kufi? Paul Kufi did that 100 years before Marcus Garvey, right? Paul Kufi did that. Marcus Garvey wasn't the first one to do that. So he just took the idea from somebody else, and then he did it. He applied it and did it. He wasn't the first one to do it. But there's some people who attribute and try to make it he the greatest. Hey man, it's American made. You understand? Quit trying to take things that don't belong to other people and try to put your brand on it. Now, most may give kudos, may give congratulations to the work and honor for what you did, but you don't get to come and step you did something that ain't been done. You just take it in the remix. It's like somebody saying they're coming over here and they made the loop, but you ain't made the beats, you ain't made the turntable, you ain't made the style of music, but you get to be considered to be the king of some shit because you made the loop. That ain't how that works. You can't tell some people that, right? So anyway, all right. So here's Paul Kufi, who supposedly, now what they say about Paul Kufi is this. Let me get a little information on this Paul Kufi, right? Now, again, he supposedly had been a captain, so he had both. He's been a wealthy black New Bedford ship owner. They claim back in the and they said about in 1811 he had visited the British colony Sierra Leone. Okay, now I'm not saying what I'm saying. British colony Sierra Leone. All right, keep that in mind. Sierra Leone. And so this is where they established when they talk about how they receive the free blacks, and then they said later on they took recaptives and took them there, right? to Sierra Leone, right? Free blacks, because they were saying that free blacks was becoming a problem in the United States at that particular time. If I show you these numbers here on the screen, I guess I can go here a little bit, and we're going to come back again. But if I show you these numbers here, and you see on your screen there, if you look down there at 1790, which are all the way at the bottom, and then go over to the right side, you start seeing what's in that black box in there, and tell you how many blacks total. They're going to tell you how many was supposed to be enslaved, and then there's free. And if you look at, as you see on the free there, look how many people in 1790 is free. All right, look how many people there is free in 1790. Again, what original sin benefits, huh? What original sin benefits, right? We don't answer this question, isn't it? What benefit have we gotten, right? So there's people who sell us back to Africa. That back to Africa been going on a long ass time in this country. So when you hear somebody in here selling that to us, that's been going on a long ass time. So if you're talking about from Paul Cooper, you're already talking about 200 years. That 200 years ago they did that, tried to pull that move, right? Or was trying to pull the move, right? And so what you see is that he end up taking people over there to Sierra Leone and end up having a lot of great financial loss. And people were starting to reject that. Like, nah, man, we're not trying to go there. Okay? Now, you got to ask yourself, what inspired him? Well, that's because why? You had the American Colonization Society. Ever heard of them? The American Colonization Society. Well, you got to ask yourself, well, what's going on that they trying to send blacks back to Africa? But now, wait a minute. Now, they keep telling you that the slave trade, with all this slave trade business going on, right? Remember, all the slave trade going on. But see, again, if all you got is the answer and you don't know how the equation got there, you don't know what I'm going to say. All you know is, the slave trade supposed to have happened. Now, if I tell you, let's say, okay, if they pushing them back to Africa in 1811 and 1815, well, damn, I thought they talking about 1865. No, 1865. 1808. What happened to 1808? What happened in 1808? In 1808, what? They abolished slavery, supposedly, right? But they said internationally, right? It's international slavery has stopped. So now it's only domestic, okay? So if you look at that chart you see on there, in 1810, look how many they said is above here. So where's these millions and millions and millions and millions of people they claim they were bringing here? Millions and millions of people coming here like that. They're just not. You can argue what you want. That's not my document. That is the census, right? And I'm pretty sure, based on when they tell us the story about how the, again, 3/5 compromise and so forth, and they're using that to get so they can have more control in government, right? So they're gonna make sure they're gonna count their people, right? So according to what you see on your screen there, then why is that number not even 1 million people by 1790? If they said millions and millions and millions and millions of people, they've been brought here to the United States. Now, let's move some fat to chew on, right? But we're going to come back to that later, right? We're going to come back to that. So anyway, so you got Paul Koofy. I got a message. Hold on, I got a message. We Boogie says, yes, American Colonization Society also founded Dominican Republic too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, we Boogie. Okay. So with that being said, so Garvey wasn't the first one, and then have you ever heard of this individual here? Huh? You know who that is? Henry McNeil Turner. Another one back to Africa. Huh? Henry McNeil Turner. By him. You ever even heard that? See, you know, they were talking about they teaching history. They don't teach, they don't teach no history. Y'all know that. And that's the whole point. They don't want to have to teach the history because if you teach the damn history, some of them lies that's been told gonna get exposed, right? So also you got this individual that you see. Is he probably a black man? He passing him as that black man. You know what I'm saying? Would you see? Would you think that's a black man? Hey, you know his hair a little kinky, right? So he got some kinky hair, right? But he was a minister, right? There you go, the ministers, right? Right? And again, the AME Church. Now the thing is, right? He's born in 1834, dies in 1915. Some people use to say about the AME Church and say that, you know, the reason why it's African, right, is because they were all Africans. But again, just because you get somebody and promote them and they happen to be African, don't make everybody else African. People make it seem like that we hate Africans. We just trying to claim our damn selves and be ourselves. It seems like everybody got a problem. Everybody want to tell us who we are as we're the damn people. We the damn people, and everybody trying to tell us our damn story. Ain't that, I mean, don't that kind of irk y'all something? For those of y'all who know what I'm talking about, don't that irk you? Somebody trying to tell you who the hell you is because you done read some story in a book, and I'm the damn people. It's like same thing, like saying what we said earlier. Say God's jury, right? We say God's jury, right? What about the same thing with that Bible? Let's say there's the Bible and there's a story about some people in the book in the Bible. So everybody again saying, okay, everybody take it, they take that story to be for themselves. But nobody asks, well, who the people today in the Bible? Who them people today? Nobody don't give the care that they don't really want to know who they is, right? They just say, perhaps it should be the Black Americans here. Perhaps it should be them, right? Let's just say it should be them. Could you accept it? Would you accept it? Or would you try to just tell them, nah, that ain't you. That ain't y'all. You came here. This is why you got here because he said you said it. And we believe him. Yet he the biggest goddamn lie in the goddamn world, but yet y'all believe him, but you don't believe us. You make that square peg in the round hole fit. Tell me how that works, right? Tell me how that works. When Boogie say, look, mixed slave blood. Okay, yeah. But you know how they do it. One drop of blood, you can be black. And you can only, and again, we did the show last time doing the graftation, showing you how Marcus still had that in him. He could be looking, who's pure white, we can see even say. But it's you're the most whitest person still gonna have that in the tree in his blood. You know, they hiding it well by burying it and covering it. It's still in there. So that whole rule of one drop blood is crazy because there's one in them somewhere, maybe. Because some people say, well, when it comes to the species and difference, that those are different species than the rest of everybody else. And then some people say, well, because they don't have melanin, whatever, man. Whatever floats your damn boat. Whatever floats your damn boat. But anyway, so that's that individual there, right? He did the same thing too, right? They're talking about, okay, so that whole thing about going and being on and going to Africa, all that been going a long time. Now, we also got to remember the fact that there's a possibility. So when I go back to this, that military again with Von D-Man, look at on there, look at that, that's the logo they had for them, right? That's that logo. That logo, that's their logo. That's their logo. Okay, let me take that down there, okay? And put this up there just in case anybody who decided they want to, you know what I'm saying? Because we always in need. We real close to being out there. We close over there. We ain't gonna lie about that. But it is what it is. But what's that logo there, right? What's that logo, right? See that logo before? Look familiar, huh? Look a little familiar. But that came from Von D-Man in them, right? And then we see also, because also I think that other group come in not too long after that. But then they also say something like this. Okay, so let's just say, remember all them other people that like your skin, look like you, that was facilitating, helping them? What about this? What about that? That look familiar? Don't look familiar. That look familiar? Okay, We Boogie out the way. We Boogie out there. No, that ain't We Boogie. That's Cash App. Okay, get the Cash App out the way, right? Right? That look familiar, right? Matter of fact, I think my man got one too, right? Don't he got one? Right? I think he got one, don't he? I think he wear that too on him, don't he not? Don't he not? He wear that too, don't he? Right? Right, protector of the secret, huh? The protectors of that secret, right? So that's what I say. That sometimes people say, those of our skin ain't our kin, right? Ain't our kin. Everything of our skin ain't our kin. Because some people got allegiance and loyalty to other things outside of us, right? They got allegiance and loyalties outside. But it's kind of funny how that symbol, right? That symbol there, very similar to this one, but this one here don't got no urn in the pole over. It just got the symbol laying out, right? Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe just all this, ain't nothing. Maybe ain't nothing, right? You also had, who also was taking mugs back to Africa too, was, you ever heard of him, Thomas Peter? Thomas Peter was the one they were saying that was part of those that went back to Nova Scotia after the Britain came here and fought, and then those are the black black loyalists that they went back and took them to Nova Scotia, and then they was getting racially discriminated in Nova Scotia, and then he said he kind of petitioned and wanted to, so they can go over there and get over to Sierra Leone. And so they take them and go to Sierra Leone. They thought he would make him the leader, but they made the white dude the leader. It wasn't him, it was the white dude, man. But they gave a statue of him and showing that, yeah, okay, we still recognize Peter Thomas. Thomas Peters. Thomas Peters, right? I think, that thing's right. So he's getting recognized for that. That's who that is. He's getting recognized for that. So going back to Africa, business been going on a long time, and then you see how they're getting treated, right? And then they're going over there, but then you have to also remember what's happening in 1884 on Africa. So was this ways for them to get themselves over there because they couldn't get in there because they had the Monroe Doctrine, so that anybody coming across that Atlantic water would be considered an act of, war. So how did they get into the continent of Africa? How did they get in there? Oh, we're going to do it back to Africa. We're going to do it back to Africa. We're going to send them to Sierra Leone, and we're going to get you over here to Liberia, right? They got in, right? Anyway, got a message. Hold on. We Boogie said Black Europeans and white counterparts both came here in death, went to war with America, blacks, masonry, and boule. Okay. Let that hang in the air. Let that marinate for a little bit. Let that marinate. All right. Okay. So that's We Boogie, right? We Boogie saying it, right? Okay. So we just saying some of these people that they've been parading and putting in front of us sometimes look to be in the best interest. Because you have to say, if they was using American colonization society to take them back to Africa back then who was the people that might have been with Marcus Garvey funding to get that going back then? Because even when Paul Kufi and them did it, the AME church and them, they went and put about 3,000, they claimed about 3,000 black people went to protest and said that they was a scam, that they were shamming to take free blacks and try to take them back to Africa. If they were Africans, why would they resist going back? When you're talking about again, either they were too many generations already here, or they had newly come, right? Because in 1808, the only thing that could happen in 1808 would be what? They only can be domestic. There's only a domestic trade happening after 1808. And the real reason is they want to say that they stopped the slave trade to abolish it like a good thing. Just like England too, they lied too. They didn't stop in 1807. They didn't officially do it till like 1833. Something like that about that. I think about 1833. Just like the United States didn't do it until they claimed they did the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. Right? Emancipation was just a wartime executive order that soon the war was over, that was done with, right? So had it really had been done? Some people believe that. They think it is, right? So you got to also remember that the United States is also fighting the Barbary Wars. Barbary Wars. Okay? You got the Barbary Wars. And they got these two wars that they fighting. Now they don't even have a navy yet at this time. They ain't got no navy. They got Thomas Jefferson, and then they got this boat, and they go there. And one of the requirements for their allegiance to them was to make them a boat. So they made them supposedly made a boat. And when they gave the boat, they went back and go back. Now they said they went from here to United States, went back into what is that water bay? What is the bay of water that's in between all that between Spain, Egypt? What's the name of that water? I can't think of the name of the water, but in there they went in there and burnt the boat down. That's what they claim. That's what they say. When you go read it, that's what they say that happened, right? They burned the damn boat down. Okay, did they do that? Well, we don't know. That's what they tell us, right? A lot of shit is all stories. But now when you sift through it and start connecting the dots, you'll find the holes. That's been the problem. Nobody wants to really go look at the story because they got you in your mind. You hate being who you are. You believe everything everybody tells you. Instead of go looking for yourself. Reading it for yourself. See for yourself. And then you'll come to understand that, okay, you've been lied to. You've been lied to. The Mediterranean Sea, there you go. There you go. Mediterranean, right? So they went in there and they burnt the boat. Supposedly they had gave it a tributary gift to the I don't know if it's the sheik or what they call. I don't know what they call it. The whoever it was of the Moroccan, whatever, that whole treaty bit. But what happened is they didn't get to sign that second one. So you'll hear a lot of these brothers that sit there talk about the Treaty of Morocco, but they don't never tell you. But when they had to go renew that mug, dude didn't come back. Dude died up there. So you only got the first one, but you didn't get the second one. And they never did no second one with you. So that means that treaty was no more no good. But they'll sit here and they'll keep telling you that one treaty. But like I said, go read for yourself and you'll see they were publishing the second treaty. But the secretary that went up there didn't come back. He died. So when did you ever get the second one? See, when they know you won't go in there and read, they'll just tell you any damn thing. And then you're like, okay, whatever you say. Get in there and read, man. Go in there and look, man. That's what you do. The Sultan, okay. Yeah, okay. You all right, we boogie. I'm good assistant there, all right? Good assistant there, we boogie. All right, so you know what I'm talking about. So, okay. All right, so with that being said, now we're going to get to some other parts of this, okay? So now, you know, when they talk about, let's see, no, let's go here. Let's go here. Hold on. Let's go. Okay. All right, so let's go here. Let's do transit and go in here. Okay, so we're going to touch back on that part. I'm going to go back on that again, but I want to set that up for you there because why? Again, you just pay attention. All right. So we seen that this dude here, right? Y'all seen this story that happened, right? Right? That Jason Aldean tried that in a small town lyrics are accused of. Let me take that. Let me take you down for a minute. Hold on. Jason Aldean tried that in a small town lyrics are accused of being pro-lynching, right? Now, again, the origin of country music is not from them, but it seems like that got lost somewhere. Again, just because a whole bunch of people doing it. It's kind of the same thing like hip hop. It's like people get around us, get familiar with us, and then when we move on to something else and we're not really doing that no more, so they just bum rush it and take over now and say, now they put their flag on the moon and say, it's ours now. We made it. We looking at y'all like, huh? What are you talking about? We just gonna ignore the fact of the beginning of it. We just gonna say, look, Johnny Cash, John Denver, Woody Woo, Woody Woo, Woo Woo, right? We're gonna go all that. This now you can take it. Like they do with hip hop. Well, it look like all of us in it now. It's all the Caribbeans in it now. So it look like Puerto Ricans, it's ours. I still can't figure out if you look at the origin of your music and your people, and again, I'm gonna say it one more time, one more again. If your history of your music is playing the way it's played, show me how you get hip hop out of that. But if you look at Black American, the Tatanus Niji, Moors, all them brother term biologically, we gonna be the same people. And that what you see we do, you can see how everything manifests from that. We can't see that what y'all doing, but okay. You understand? We understand it. We get it. You know what I'm saying? You know how John Leguizamo was talking about he wants y'all to be Latin envy? Well, I guess that's probably what it is. Not Latin envy. I think it's black envy. It's love to hate type shit. Like, you know, most of y'all that end up coming here, leaving, y'all claim for better life, and then generations or two here, you have a you have culture of your ethnicity from your parentage, but not on the homeland. And so you being here against the most dominant group of culture, and then it's like, where do y'all get to fit in there? So you have to just kind of find a way to get in. And so I think people are sat around and think they learned you, understand you, and then figure a way to say, well, we can take it now. Because really, you don't got no real history here. I get it. We get it. But I think it's disingenuous. I think it's wrong on y'all part. But, y'all got, if you're so sincere about the fight, instead of about our plight, what about your own people? Don't they need you? Don't you want to go back and claim that? Why y'all in here fight so damn hard on the land that ain't of your ancestry? I don't get that part. I don't get it, but teach his own. Got a couple messages here. Wee Boogie says, right, Taylor, if they ever take America, right? If they even or ever take American. Put that up there on the screen. Yeah. Again, we're not anti. We just pro us. And it seems everybody wants to somehow find a way to keep us from being us so that you can plant your seeds and roots, and you would rather bury us. And some of y'all don't even know why your parents, you think that your parents left because better life. Sometimes they was traitors, sellouts. You understand? I know that's that hard to understand and believe, but think about it. For those of them who are poor, Those who got money, well, you come from a family with money and they send you over here, go to school, get the information, go back, set up shop so we can come over. Forget that part. But some of them other ones, maybe you help do some shit against your own people. Maybe they ain't gonna never tell you that part of the story. You know. But what's sad is people come amongst us and then they be like, you know what, man? We don't like them either. Right? But we don't mind using them as a stepping stone to get what we think we entitled to. Nobody's more entitled than the Black American. I know I'm saying that, and I know we're not supposed to, but the Black American, right? I still don't get it, man. And people want to tell me they're good people. How can you be good people doing that kind of shit? How can y'all be good people, man? And then y'all expect nobody not to say nothing. That's the most craziest shit that ever, though. But anyway, so let me dispel this other part. Now let's say, for instance, right, when they tell you the South and the North and the South, they always make you believe that the whole game of the story of slavery, right? The whole selling part to slavery is the South, as if the North had no complicity in it at all. So you have to ask yourself some questions. Okay, if that's just, they're building with agriculture, right? So they're going to use the labor for agriculture. And then they're taking the product of what they agriculture and selling it. Well, how are they getting their clothes, their shoes, their tools, and all other necessities? Who creating and making that? Yeah, that would be the North, right? The North would be doing that. Let's say places like New England, let's places like Rhode Island. What are they doing up there? Matter of fact, New England and Rhode Island are supplying the Caribbeans. That's why some people are now starting to say that the Caribbeans were here in the United States, is because there's a part of it could be when, again, they were, again, so you're thinking about the Caribbeans. All the arid land that they had was being used to do what? Produce sugar. They had the white gold, sugar. White folks taste sugar and lost their mind. Just like they smoked a little tobacco, lost their mind. Cotton came. Let me tell you something. Cotton was king because cotton went all over the world. The cotton that came from that South flooded the whole damn near the whole world. That's how bad Black Americans are. What our ancestry have produced, it just wasn't here. It wasn't just there. That's why we always global, because we was global from the get-go. Yes, dig? We always been global. So when y'all come over here and try to, ride on our shit and take over our shit and talk shit to us, we looking at y'all like, y'all crazy. You got to be crazy. And then some people say, well, what have y'all done? Shit. When you see somebody who a billionaire and got kids, what you supposed to tell them what you done did? They ain't got to do shit. They got all the money. All I got to do is just find something to do because I can afford to do it. So let's just put it this way. If our ancestors did all that for us to inherit and we didn't get nothing, and you had to mitigate, go get up and tell, what do y'all do? Y'all don't do nothing. Shit, look at your homeland. That's why I was talking about shithole countries. Anyway, let me stop. Reed Boogie said, we gods, irreplaceable, or we are gods, irreplaceable. They don't innovate, and they can only master what we create, which they lack. Okay? Which they lack. But see, when we say these things, we're being, what do they call it? Arrogant. People think we're arrogant or pompous. But it seems like everybody has glee and happy when they see us broken and destroyed. And it seems like they're happy. But boy, the minute when you're going to get on your damn feet They all show I'm against it. You ain't supposed to get no reparations. You ain't nobody. Y'all, you have people come here and say, we come here and do better than you. When you looking at you, what you mean? So you mean to tell me you would rather believe in your damn mind and heart that you could come from where you have and the people who've been here from the inception of the game and all that they done contributed, made, invented, and all that stuff, that you could come and pass me up and ain't something of a hindrance to me. Something to a hindrance to the entire group. That's what y'all believe? Or do you need to say that in order to make yourself feel like you somebody? Is that what you got to do? Why y'all got to ask yourself that shit? Why y'all hold a lot of disdain and a hatred for black people in this country? You like to say the worst shit, they ain't shit, can't be shit, ain't smart, all kinds of stuff so that you can feel good about yourself. That's the most craziest shit in this country. When you say you couldn't have got here if there was no place for you to come. So I don't owe you nothing. So I'll flip the switch and I'm gonna tell you, you know what? That's the white man's land. You are slaves. You'll say everything in opposition to keep me down in that position. Y'all know that's true. You like when I entertain you. You like when I tell you jokes. You like to see me do dances and right? So you can steal something. So you can steal something. Right? Looking for something to steal. If I got something you can steal and take it and make it for yourself, because they're never going to let you claim it, so why I don't steal it? So we can become rich. All take. No give. Only thing you give us is your fingers. That's about all you're going to give us is your fingers, right? So anyway, let me move on. Matter of fact, let me take this quick little break. Hold on.
Smell that?
Yeah, I smell something.
Smells good, right?
Yeah, I think maybe we should go to another place. Our beyonce ain't really very.
Are you kidding? Tell me you don't want one of these pies right here, right over here.
Well, the pies look good, Carl, but I kind of lost my appetite when I came in here. My appetite just left.
Good afternoon, Billy. We'd like some coffee and a couple of slices of pie.
How do you know my name is Billy?
Well, it says it right there on your shirt.
If you boys can read so good, how come you missed that sign on the door over there?
Oh, that sign on the door that we just... How come we didn't see that sign and say no colors allowed, Chloe? We just rushed in. We was really hungry, so we kind of missed that. But look, we see it now, so bye.
Look, man, we've been traveling all day.
Yeah, let's go.
All we want is some coffee and a couple of slices of pie. Is that all right?
No, these are whites-only pies.
But do you have any Negro pies?
Hey, Chloe, come on now. This woman ain't got the recipe to no Negro pie. Where would she get that recipe? Another establishment, we can get us some pie. Come on, how far is the next
35 miles.
Yeah, come on, let's way.
I'm not driving no 35 miles to get no pie. Lady, ma'am, okay? Now, we want some pie, okay? We are hungry, okay? Billy, we want some pie.
Let me take care of this.
Why somebody got to die because you want some pie?
Let me take care of it. Look here, look. We from New York. My name Ray Gibson, okay? Let's talk turkey. How much it gonna cost to turn one of them white-only pies into nigger pie?
How about I turn y'all into nigger pie?
So you say about 35?
35 miles.
Okay, maybe find another establishment down the road, you know.
Come back to this, right? Why only pies? Huh? We live in a country, we've been here when it was white only pies. White only. Brand new just got here yesterday. Y'all think y'all got the game down pat. You done bumped the line. Shit, back in the day, we used to try to bump that damn line, get their ass whooped. You know, like a union, right? Be a line, what they call that? Be a scab. You know, a scab worker. Break the union line and see if they were serious about that. But today, it's very lackadaisical because everybody can just use, I come for a better life. But shit. Life here ain't been easy for that been here from the beginning. They sure you don't give a shit. They don't really care. I don't care. But we've been here since white only pies, right? Yeah, the kids still destroy the fact. Gentrifiers, aka stalkers. We boogie, boy. We boogie, right? So, yeah, why only pies, right? So, again, just like this Jason Aldean, say try that in a small town, right? Why only pies, right? Right, them little sundown towns, right? That's what he was talking about. Did y'all see them lyrics he was showing? Let me show some of them lyrics he was talking about, right? It's just a case. I'm pretty sure. Remember, I come on once a week. If you don't know, I come on at least Sunday. I'm gonna be on Sunday between 5 and 7. Today did 8, and I had to wait. Somebody got home, but 8 today. But normally 5 to 7. Right, between 5 and 7 on Sundays. If you ain't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Again, we the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business 11 years as of July 26th. 11 years. And can't get anyway. So that's that individual right there, right? Right? So let's look at some of this, right? Let's look at this stuff, right? Right, sundown town. That's how long we've been here. Try it in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. To cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Ooh. Try that in a small town, right? Right, you know, small town to us means what? Sundown town, right? Little hick town, right? Now, those of us in communities, all of us feel the same way. We like, hey, you know, we don't like my folks coming in there causing chaos. Now, when it comes to us as black folks, now I use that just as talking term. Some of us live in environments that's been designed and created. So you might want to do that, but because of the generational trauma, right? The things that some people are holding and can't let go or can't break the cycle, even a lot of people believe education is going to do it. But as some of my shows I done talked about, not everybody is studious. Not everybody is built to be in school. Why some people can't understand that? Again, if school's ranking every student, if you got 45 students and there's a number 1 student and a number 45, then there got to be 44 and in between too. So let's put it this way. Let's say if you're in grade school, let's say there's 12 grade schools in a community, a particular community, right? So them 12 schools, then you got each 12 school got a number 1, a number 2, right? So many, depending on how many numbers, right? So then it's like look at it like sports. You go up to the next league. So high school, now you're gonna take all those of that 12 number 1s, transfer them all to the high school, and they all the number 2, 1s and 2s and 3s and 4 and 5 are gonna battle to see who's number 1. Right? So they all battling. Now again, you still got your 45s and 50s. They're at the damn bottom. They ain't gonna never really be there because maybe they just, again, it's not their gift. It's not that they can't read, they can't write, or can't comprehend. Just, you know, sometimes it's just not your forte. Why some people don't understand that? Why everybody just make, well, we're intelligent, the rest of you guys are dumb. Man, they might got a genius or something that don't apply to reading books and and giving answers. They may have some other kind of genius, right? But nobody care about that, right? Because to me, I'm just saying this hypothetical. I'm just saying maybe because a lot of them that was the number 1, 2, and 3 students, all the A students and so forth, because you couldn't go outside and play and had to stay and do homework all the time. So you kind of like a social misfit, right? You're like a social misfit. Whatever happening is that social misfit gets older now, and now he gets some power. His 2 left feet at the party, people laugh. He wore the Poindexter suit, right? All that shit, right? Right? You the Poindexter. And so what happens? They grow up, get to college, get into certain organizations and societies, and now we're going to turn back. We're going to be Carrie. The movie Carrie, right? Yeah, that poor pig blood on the dead head to prom. Everybody laughing. We're all going to laugh at you. We're all going to laugh at you. Now they laughing at our ass, right? To get everybody's ass back, right? Now that's what done happen. The tide done turned. When they used to be the Poindexters in school, now they get back in the damn world and say, now, how does it feel now? Now we controlling all y'all asses, right? That's basically what done happened. In some sense. But then you also got some people who just smart and they a little rambunctious and wild too. And them would be the one that be in there, they be thugging their ass up in there. There's some smart thugs up in them suits, right? Some gangster mugs, or they just, let's say, nepotism. They got relations to motherfuckers who might have been smart, but they may not be as smart, but they in the circles and they get some power and something like that, right? So then what happens to all the people 45, 44, 43, 42, 40, 41, right? So you the lumping proletariats now. Now you down at the damn bottom, right? You the motherfuckers down here, you got to take all the shit that these motherfuckers doing, right? Okay? So, what you saying, Mr. Blood? I thought we talking about this idea, but that's what I'm trying to say. So, all right, so these designs and areas of environments that people live in, we all want to protect our environment, but some of us can't do that because there's different elements, different, scales of ferocities and angers, and so you can't really control in some neighborhoods, and other ones may have a little bit more, control than others. So what happens is when everybody dump all the 45s and 44s and 43 into neighborhoods and their children and so forth, and once in a while hoping that a rose grows out of that concrete, what do you get? The stuff that everybody wants to point the finger and say, look at them, they're just killing themselves. But you feel like every time you think it's best to get away because you say, look at them. They don't have no examples. How can somebody aspire to something greater than if they don't see it for the example? When you think to get the hell away from them, I'm not saying you being there because it's dangerous. I get that. But you got to also understand the situation. I think that's what happened with a lot of people today. A lot of people cannot put themselves in the shoes of other people and realize that your circumstance, you may not have been as far down in the barrel as other people. And you can't really understand. And some people I be hearing, they be talking, they be trying to say they don't understand why people do what they, because you haven't been that far down in the damn barrel. As I show you the damn people that have the free blacks. Some of y'all come from the free blacks. You ain't never really went through shit. School ain't been a problem. You done have generations, great went to college. And some of y'all got that great, and they went to college. So what the hell would you know about a modern day person who was poor down in the hole, who been generations from sharecroppers and just enough to survive? Again, 5'11", 6 feet in water. You just keep your nose up to keep your ass from drowning. What you know about that? So you say school saved you, right? Because again, all the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 get together. Then what they do, the system has now got a draft. We're drafting for college for those to be the next contestants and helping us to run our empire. Let me say that one more again. Take the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s of all them that we go out of high schools around that country and around all your areas. We're going to draft them into who's the next contestant to be helping us to run our empire. And you say, I made it. Look, I got a degree. I'm this and that. But you facilitated against your own damn people and don't even know that shit. You don't know you facilitating against your own people. You ain't figured that part out yet, have you? That's why I'm the most hated show on the black corner of YouTube. Can you understand why? Can you understand why? Everybody talking about they talking real. Huh? Okay. Okay. Anyway, so small town. Right? So let's look at this stuff here that he's talking about, right? Let's take this. Okay, he says this, he goes on, he says that got a gun that what his granddad gave me. So that's somebody, again, many of us never even got to know our grandfather. Grandfather could have been already done passed away. Grandfather could have been locked up in jail. Grandfather could have been done broke camp with dad, your father. He didn't know his dad, and you don't even know your dad. A lot of different scenarios when you're dealing with these situations, right? So in this is legacy, right? He got legacy. Granddad gave him a gun and said that, hold on, let me see, because my screen is a little blurry here. Let me get it. Hold on 1 second. Let me do this. Let me do this, right? Yeah. Granddad gave me a gun. They said one day they're gonna round up. Now what? Round up? What was that song that said? Regulators mound up. He didn't say mound up. He said round up. But it's the same thing, right? Regulators mound up. It was a clear white mic, right? Meaning one day you gonna need this gun because y'all gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck. Okay. What do you think of city? And like Eddie Murphy went, why only pies? He said, I'm Ray Gibson. I'm from New York City. Let's talk turkey. Right? Let's talk turkey here. Right? How much you gonna take to take those nigger pies? The white only pies into nigger pies. Right? Let me tell you into, right? Small town. Your money ain't good here, boy. And some black people don't even understand that shit. There's some black people who do not understand. They think we get our money together and we could just buy some stuff. Damn, nigga, they called it redlining. Right? What? Matter of fact, I think the part of the restrictive covenants still on the application. They never took that shit off. Even though they said, well, we wrote a law saying 1964 Civil Rights Act, all that shit, right? You can't really prove that somebody else is discriminating on you about some shit because you black and they don't want to sell to you. You can't prove it. Remember, I told you when they won the Supreme Court with the case with the affirmative action, the country just got a little bit wider, just a little bit now, because now. See how Mr. Asian, you went over there, you discriminate against me. Because I want to get in. I get perfect school. Hey, we supposed to get, right? Now you fucked it up. Now can't nobody gonna be able to prove shit now. So what's gonna happen now? Anyway, don't pay no attention. He said, try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Sundown town, right? Right? One place, shit. Like, bro, you don't get your ass out of here. Matter of fact, that happened to that young boy. Remember that young brother that was in there, went to the police department trying to get help, went down there for a job, and then went to go tell the police that they were bothering him. And remember, he said he was going to use his phone to charge, and he left. Matter of fact, I did the show. I got the thumbnail where his head gone, right? Sundown town, right? Around here, we take care of our own. You cross the line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. What, get it? Yeah, a Mayberry town. Everybody, it was like cheers. Everybody knows your name. And we're so glad that, right? We understand that. The black folks don't have that because why? We don't own, we there's some of us, again, like I said, there's some of us who generationally been free blacks, so we ain't never really sure. Well, I'm talking about those who come from generations of renters and not owning and working poor, right? You live in a community that other people own. Allocate the taxes from out of there, and take it to where they is, and you get it how you can, right? So, yeah, when you have generations of people who've been living in a small town and granddaddy, mama, and all that live there, yeah, you can have that kind of cohesion to round up and mount up. If somebody coming here doing some shit, you don't think that we own in no community, people that live in environments and shit be going on, you don't think they wish they had people like that? That's because, again, they try to take care of mind their own business, and they can't afford to go out there because one less person, the whole damn family hurts when one person is extracted, whether they go to jail or die, or whatever it may be. Hey, you just get insurance. That don't cure everything. You can't cure. What about the person? What about the person? It's kind of like, people who say, well, shit, I don't need the daddy, just give me the money. But then the child need don't the child need the camaraderie, the interaction with whether it be the mother or the father? Don't it need that? No? Okay. All right. So, full of good old boys raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town, right? Good old boys. Yeah. Back in the days, just the good old boys. I don't mean it no harm. You don't. Dukes of Hazzard. Remember General Lee? Come on this shit. Yeah. Right? Right? Okay. We get that. So, he said that this song had no racial connotation to it. It was just, you guys are just taking it and running with it. We got a message here. I got a message here. Mr. Spence 0620 in the house. What's good, my brother? Thoroughest subscriber, man. Anybody who would want in the house. 0620, Mr. Spencer. What's good, brother? Glad to see you stop by. Did start a little late tonight. I started at 8. Had to wait on something to get in here. But so we glad to see you stop by. And once again, appreciate your Cash App and what you continue to do as the #1 top. I don't know how many weeks. We ain't trying to count that, but we always appreciate you, sir. Always. He said, sucker punch somebody on the sidewalk. Now, again, he's making reference to knockout game, right? They was, remember that when y'all was watching the news, they were talking about the kid, the knockout game, right? Okay. All right. I think a lot of that shit had to do when, again, those of us who came up back in the day, we used to hang around 10, 15, 20, 30 deep, ain't got shit to do. We start busting on each other back in there, rank bust, we're just talking shit about another other. We bored. We ain't got shit to do. Oh, nigga, ran up ass shoes. Right? We get into all that shit, right? Then after that don't work at the wild shit, then it's like, what else can we do? Well, some of us say, hey, strong armor mode. They went over there and put a nigga in the headlock, take his wallet out of his pocket. They laughed. I thought it was funny. That shit, damn, we got about $200-300 out there. And that shit become addictive, right? So they start doing crazy shit. Oh, I bet you can't knock this motherfucker. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That's how that shit come. Because why? Kids ain't got shit to do. Just like they were talking about down in Chicago, right? Kids downtown going to the free event. So they all like, well, shit, we were trying to go down there to the free event and try to just, have something to do. Because we can't really hang in our streets because some motherfuckers don't like to see you smiling. You're showing your teeth too damn much. You laughing too much. You too happy. Shoot, bust a nigga the cap, right? So they try to go in the facility. They would think that, well, again, if it's downtown with police protection, well, we should be safe down here. But see, that kid, now today with technology, hey, we gonna go down here. 1 call and so call and 5 call and 20 calls and 30 calls. Next thing you know, you got 200, 300, 500 kids. Now y'all down there, y'all terrified because so many of them, because y'all thinking about, is they coming to get us? Did they figure it out? No, they just trying to be down there and have some damn fun. right? That's it. So what happens is they get bored, nothing to do. Ain't no none of the money being allocated to so these damn kids can have something to do. Can't be in the damn park and somebody seeing again too many parents again. Shit, let me see. I can back and shoot one of them, right? So they can't go in the park either. So instead of giving all this money to other places, give some facilities for these kids that have something to do. Shit, what a ball can do does a lot for a lot of young men, but what about everybody else? And again, even if you had a court with 2 baskets or 4 baskets, everybody can't play at the same time. And so while everybody idly sitting around, shit pop off, right? You know what I'm saying? So again, some of this shit can be remedied and fixed, but do you really want to fix it? That's really the question. But see, that's what he talking about. Suck upon somebody on the sidewalk, carjack an old lady at the red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. Y'all think it's cool? Well, act a fool if you like. That's in a small town. But in the city, that shit is random and happen more frequent than not. And the way that now everybody is so much is again, depending on what city you're in, where you can conceal and carry, right? And then it's not so much about concealing and carry. Now it's about being accountable once you pull. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to pull it, you got to be accountable for everything that you do. And that's kind of like what that situation that happened with that situation that, remember that show I did about the sister with the brother and, you know, go to the car. Nobody want to talk about that no more. But, you know, that's how it happened. Something pop off. You try to protect yourself. So they charge it to the game and let it go. So it is, right? But we just understand, you know, somebody pulling a gun in the owner of a liquor store ain't coming there just because they just want to shoot him. They coming there for the goods. We want the cash register and give me a couple of them bottles while we at it. We get to protect your property and your business. We get that. I don't know who think it's cool, but survival and being deprived for generations and generations breeds certain types of people. Y'all know that poverty has to do with economics. So if you want to not have these issues, then why flood the country with other motherfuckers instead of just dealing with your own or the people within? And then you can now say this is the greatest country because you don't got those problems. But anytime you neglect and not take care of, what you think you gonna get? Everybody acting like they still don't understand that shit. Or is it just we deem you to be that and you're gonna always be that because that make us feel better about ourselves? Okay. Says cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag, and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough? Cuss out a cop, spit in his face. Shit, they say, nigga, you want to die? Cuss out a cop. Now you might be able to tell a police officer, you know what I'm saying, man, that's some bullshit. You might slide a little something that's within the confines of the conversation. If he know he on bullshit and you just kind of know he on some bullshit, but you're doing it in a way that's not, he might let you slide a little bit with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like in Harlem Nights when they told what was his name? Fred Sanford, when he told me he's a blind motherfucker. He said, I ain't gonna be too many motherfucking blind motherfuckers, right? I ain't gonna be too many more of them, right? I might let you get that first one off. You gonna get that second one off, right? And like I said, you could, but now if you spit it don't have to be a cop face. Didn't we see a video not too long ago? Did y'all see that shit with them sisters was in that damn grocery store? And that white woman was talking crazy, and they told you better go on with yourself. And then she started talking, then she spit in the face and tried to walk about the stove. And then when she went outside, she had a black man. Ain't that something? She had a black man that thought the black man was trying to take, they were whooping her. He was looking like he just got out the damn way, right? You spit in anybody's face. Don't have to be no damn cop. You what they say, brace for impact. Shit, brace for impact. That's what you gonna get. If you spit in somebody's damn face, brace for impact, right? Stomp on the flag and light it up. Maybe you're talking about protesters. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're talking about protesters, right? It has to be about protesters, right? And so I guess in a way that would be talking about, again, everybody want to associate protesting with black people with Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives, again, I remember when they first came out, they talking about that. I said, you probably could have gave a couple of them motherfuckers a heart attack. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. The motherfucker started clutching his heart. Black Lives Matter. You make them go, motherfucker go to eat. You put him to sleep, put him in coma. That shit hurt them. Saying Black Lives Matter is like, you know what I'm saying? Like sticking a damn stake in Dracula's damn heart. You know what I'm saying? Black Lives Matter. God damn, that's the worst shit you can say. All lives matter. Well, God damn. It's funny how people can see what they want to see and ignore all the other shit. But anytime you try again, anytime you get in a position to show that the motherfucker's not treating you right, they make sure to turn that shit around. Well, okay, whatever. You think you're tough. Okay. No, shit. If you do that shit to a cop, they made it as a loss about that flag, right? So, okay. Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road around here. We take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long. For you to find out, I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Okay. So he's spitting his Willy Bobo telling you, look. Now, the thing was, there was a couple of little iconic things that he was showing in there. That's the little things he was showing. But he wanted to say it had nothing to do with nothing. Let me show y'all something. Let me show you something here. Now, you know, I'm a week behind, right? So let me show you, right? He showed, well, I'm gonna show this one. Like I should show the one that he had in the video. But he showed this here because it was in his background. Well, let's see, can I? Yeah, let me see something. Hold on. Let me see if I can put the right one in here. Let me see if I can put that in there. Quick. See if I can put that in there. I got it in there. Yeah. All right. I got that other one. Okay. So let me upload this one right quick. Hold on. Because that's how it actually looks. But in his video, it looks like this. Let me see. Let's see. Right here. You know what? See. There you go. All right. See this video, you see it there. All right, you see that. Now, the thing is that background there is actually about a story. There's a history to that background there, right? It's about a young man about 19 years old. And let me, got some technical difficulties. Hold on one second. All right. So his name was, what was that brother's name again? What was his name? I forgot his name. Hold on. What was his name again? Henry Coet. Coet. That's his name. Henry Coet, right? Supposedly, according to the background of that story, was that he was working on a road construction project. He was in Coffee County, Tennessee. Okay. And he went to Columbia on what they back then they called it Armistice Day, but it was actually Veterans Day, right? What they call Veterans Day. And his father, he went to visit his grandfather. His grandfather's name is Henry Clay Harlan. He was about 85 years old. He was born in slavery. He lived about 7 miles west of Columbia. Now, according to they said during that visit, a white girl, young white girl, about 16 years old, her name happened to be Sarah Harlan. Now, I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't he say granddaddy name is Henry Clay Harlan, and the little white girl name was Sarah Harlan, but they said there was no relations. Ironic. Yeah. His name Harlan, and the little white girl named Harlan. Granddaddy might have slipped down somewhere. I'll be the baby's baby. But anyway, so they claimed that she had been attacked by a young man. Now, how many times have we heard in our stories as Black people about these stories about somebody being accused by a white girl? And how Tulsa, Oklahoma happened? Was that the Baker's boys? Was it right? You know, this quite the youngest man ever to be executed, Steny, right? Remember, he was only 13. That was about that too, right? Right? So, okay, right? But what's ironic is, right, when you think about Tennessee, what comes to mind to you about Tennessee? Anybody know? What's in Pulaski, Tennessee? Anybody know? No, some two months ran up out of here, boy. It's at Pulaski. They ran. Oh, shit. Klan. Ain't that the home of the Klan? Pulaski, Tennessee, right? Okay. So accordingly, the sheriff of Maury County, he had supposedly had bought a pack of hound dogs. They end up arresting Cohen, put him in the county jail. Now they said, according to the background, they said that the Sarah Harlan, which was a little white girl, was 16, said she could not identify him as the perpetrator. Now wait a minute. She got attacked. They went on a hunt, pick a nigga, and she said he didn't do it. Right? Oh, Emmett Till too, right? Say whistle, right? Anyway. So they arrest him anyway. And so the wife of the sheriff told one of the, probably a Negro cook that was worked at the jail, he said to tell him that there's going to be a group of men that's going to come and they're going to kill him. Okay? And so the cook came and brought the young man some cigarettes and told him, hey, they're going to come here and kill you. And so he said that he should start praying. So the mob head came, and then it was the wife of the sheriff who had the keys that was, according to what they say in the story, she didn't want to get the keys up. She said, no, I ain't gonna get the keys up. Hell no, I ain't gonna do that, right? So but the mob wasn't gonna go away. And so they told that they were gonna blow this place up with dynamite if they didn't let them get in there. So they said about 250 men. They opened the jail, took him out. They was hitting him with hammers in his head. They was killing him, tied him to the back of a car, drove him and drug him around. And after that, took him to that courthouse you see, and they hung him. Okay? Hung him. Anybody remember James Byrne? Remember they did that to him in Texas? Drove that brother from back of the car, drug him until head decapitated in body and stuff like that. Yeah, she said that wasn't him. Yeah, they're going to do it anyway, right? Hatred, right? Pure hatred. So he said that the song it had nothing to do with race and none of that other stuff. But these subliminals and these things in the back of it had significance. It had a history. Maybe somebody didn't know. Maybe didn't know about that back of that story there. But you know, WeUpReport, that's what we do. We're gonna give you the back part of the story sometimes, if it's there to be found. Right? So that's kind of funny, right? That you know, again, country music is not white folks' music. But you act like it's your music. What, you know, I don't know if y'all even created opera. What did y'all, I mean, what was that? The troubadours. I don't even think the troubadours was even white. I think they was black, right? Right? The troubadours, right? I think that's go back up in Europe and stuff like that, right? I don't think they was it, right? So it's like, yeah. All right. But anyway, that's just the point, right? It just shows you, right? You can make videos and stuff like that and have little subliminal messages, stuff like that. Once some people pick up on it, that's up, you know, the eye of the beholder, and then the creator knows what they do when they put this stuff in there. Just like doing videos. People do, and put stuff and what they do in videos that have their significance or whatever symbolism or agenda or slant they bring in. You know, everybody does that. I don't do that. We do news and we do history. People don't like it because we might be telling something they might not want to hear though. Now, we're gonna get to this part here, right? So let's go ahead. Let's do this. All right, slow up now, sir. Now, man, what happened to that? Man, this thing has been they is here doing some magic on me, boy. What they here they snatching shit out of my how are they doing that? Okay, here we go. Right? So let's look at this, right? So look at this, right? DeSantis doubled down on claim that some blacks benefited from slavery. Right? Think about that, saying we benefited from slavery. Now again, slavery is based on depending on who we talking about. Did blacks benefit from slavery? Because again, I keep asking till somebody tell me, when was the slave trade? Don't give me no 10-eyed, 20-eyed Negroes on a boat on its way to Veracruz, Mexico, got intercepted and taken and brought into Virginia, and that began the slave trade. When yet you said that everybody that was on there was indentured servants. You still got indentured servants up to 1654, where you got a story about, well, this one because of a contestant about whether he had fulfilled his obligations to his indentured servitude, went to court, became court record. Now he said that is the beginning of it, was the one that was deemed for life. Then you got another one that is two white men and a black man who run away to not fulfill their obligation. The two white ones get more indentured time, and the black ones get deemed in 1661 as a slave. So when is the slave trade? When did the slave trade start? Again, last time we showed, again, as I was talking about earlier, right? Domestic slave trade. Once you get here in 1808, right? Once you get to 1808, New Orleans become the domestic slave trade. Those who seen the show when I did with Charlie Smith, the oldest man that was ever recorded here in the United States, and then they kind of took that away because he didn't want to believe that the white man went to the moon. Remember that was the one that he didn't believe that. You know how those of us who've been around and had older folks around, they'll tell your ass, they'll just tell it like a TI is, right? They don't hold nothing back. And he just told them, you ain't in no damn moon. How the hell you gonna get up there? How the hell you gonna get back? So they thought they was gonna wow him, and he was just gonna be like, oh my God, such a great. He just kept it 100. So what they did is to take away from him that he was the oldest living person in the United States ever recorded. They said, well, in a document that he went back of a girl he had dated, because he was always much older than everybody because he'd been outliving them, right? So he dated a woman, and then he might have like sometimes people do, they change their age, right? He made himself to be a little younger because I think he said of him being 40, I think he was going to be 45 being with her, and she was like 20 something. He made himself a little bit younger. So they went back and said, well, because you said that, so we believe you're not. And so they kind of cut back, but they still recognize him as still that, right? You see, you get what I'm saying? That's what they did. So he told you that they brought him in through Louisiana too, did they not? They remember he was in remember he said he was an African and that he was from Liberia. And they didn't steal him, they tricked him on the boat. Remember, he said they had pancake tree down in the bottom. Remember, they had a pancake tree down up in the bottom, and he said they had a syrup tree down in the bottom of in the hole of the deck. He said him and a couple of them went down there, and then the boat stopped moving. Right now, where they sell it in the slave movie, right? Oh, they snatching you, beating you down there, throwing salt on you, whipping you the hell to death. People throwing, right? That ain't what he said though. Now the thing is, when the man who was doing the interview asked him, he said, now, where did you come? He said, Louisiana, right? Okay. He said he had been here since the Civil War. He claimed he was around since the Civil War. He came when he was 14, but he had been since the Civil War, right? So, okay, he said a lot of things, right? So, again, they're talking about slave trade, and when you start looking at these numbers, you can see that if anybody coming 1790, there's only 757,000. So based on, you know, that the international slave trade stopped at 1808. So that means by 1810, what are you seeing? What's the numbers in 1810? Right? The numbers you see in 1810 is hold on, let me see from my hand here. So you only got maybe 1.3 million, maybe. Okay, so from 787,000 to 1.3 is about more than 500,000, 5,500,000. So in 20 years, he ain't did much. So there was a slowdown, right? If you saying you bringing people, but boy, look at the ones that they call Caucasians, whites. That's a big number. Now, I'm not going to tell you that all of them came, but some of them is birth. But look how big that number is when you see the difference between the 10-year periods. These is millions of people coming, 1.5 million and so forth of a difference. Again, I won't say the whole 1.5 million, but let's say there is when you look at the difference between the blacks and whites, black numbers like a difference of maybe 136,000 in 10 years. So when you got that many people, I can see births, 136,000 births out of 800,000 people. You could get 136,000 births, right? But when this other side over here got millions, who really coming on the boat? You know what I'm saying? And then you see a little spike in the numbers with black folks around about 1860 when it jumped to about 4,441,830, right? So, but look at the white number. Big numbers, man. So if anybody coming on a boat, white folks is coming on a boat. Right? White folks coming on a boat. Ain't no doubt about that shit. And so what they were saying here is that they were domestically taking us from state to state. There was actually an individual, if you look him up, what was his name again? There's an individual who actually that's what he was doing. He made his money as a inside, I guess you say, domestic slave trader. They try to make him a domestic slave trader and make him be the one he's the one that's actually running that over in Louisiana. He is the one doing it. His name is Charles Morgan. You look up Charles Morgan, you'll find about him, and again, how he was, again, transporting people from water to the upper South, to New Orleans, to Galveston, Texas. So that's what he was doing. So when they're talking about, remember there's time, like say against when people were using the story of roots, and then they talk about how they was just taking our families and taking people from our family and taking them away, and you wouldn't see them again. That's because maybe they took him and he got transported and took it to another state. Not necessarily they took him on another plantation, took him somewhere so they needed somebody else. And again, if you was considered a Cicero, somebody like Mr. Blows Your Mind, they'd have been, took me some damn where away from my damn family, right? So that's how that would have been working. So there was domestic slave trading we ain't gonna say slave trading. We're just gonna say they were taking our people and displacing us and splitting us all up, taking children and all that other stuff, right? And taking them over them here, taking them there. Because when you do your genealogy and you go and trace your people, you're going to get to a point. I was seeing this in my own. I can't say for everybody, but for myself and those who might have done it. You'll see when you get to a part where you'll see a relative of yours and they're a kid, and there's a whole bunch of other kids there too, and there's one white dude or some dude of a certain age, and there's a bunch of kids. And I have to be like, what the hell was that? What was they doing? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if any of y'all have traced and find that, but I've seen that a couple of times in some of the family members and doing trees and stuff like that. I've seen it. I'm sitting there like, what the hell was that? You got this, yeah, a couple of them, there's a couple of teenagers, and then you get a couple of little, like little young ones in there, and like, what are they doing with them? You know, like some of the backdrop story today is about trafficking, right? You know what I'm saying? And some of the things of your wildest imagination when you have a people who can do something and there is no law against it. You know how, just imagine today if, well, just put it this way. There's still law, but there's some people who can be somewhat above the law and can do certain things, while other people, if they break any little fraction of the law, they're going to hold you to every letter. But just imagine we have just pure anonymity. Ain't nothing they could do. Can you imagine some of the shit they was doing? We don't even want to imagine that. And then to say that a lot of us are still here to this day based on the survival of the shit of that. Think about that. So we are people from some people who, again, we can only tell our story, but everybody come here trying to tell us who we are and who we not. The mitigated gall you have. You should never get in our face talking about some shit. You know nothing about us. You don't know what we've been through. It should be nothing but respect. Even if you come from a land that hold against black people and y'all feel bad, but when you come here and you're not at home, tip your hat. Salute. You know what I'm saying? Because you had nowhere to run without them. Without us. What we gone through, what our traumas are. There's variations of levels of this shit. Like I said, again, as you've seen the numbers, look at how many people free blacks by the time you get to 1860. You almost got you're 500,000. You got 500,000 people. So who of us come from them that was already part of the 500,000? So you ain't like say, let's say for me, hypothetically speaking for myself, I come from that cut, that generation upon generation upon generation, trying to break that damn cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like, just imagine you around people who still looking for the first one to go to college. Some of them still looking for the first one to go out of high school. Some of them still ain't got nothing to get out of grade school. Huh? But you might come out of a generation of people who come from, you know, like I say, great granddaddy went to college, grandma, right? Y'all had that long, so you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know from your perspective. You can't get down in this dirt where I'm at and talk this shit I'm talking about, because you ain't built like that. You ain't come from that. But y'all critique it and look at it as the worst shit. But sometimes that diamond in the rough is here. You just didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't know it. All right, so let's see what else I got in here, right? I mean, because ain't no need to go with that shit he's saying, talking about benefits of slavery. No, if anybody benefited from slavery, everybody else except for the people who gave blood, sweat, wealth. Because how many times y'all stole our wealth? We put in money in banks called the Freedmen banks. Now it's kind of funny when you go read that story and understand that story of that Freedmen bank, you find out that somebody in the military was kind of like, wait a minute, okay, now 1862, you got Lincoln that's going to do the Confiscation Act, right? And then they got the 90 days from January 1st, 1863. What's going to end up happening is the Emancipation Proclamation goes into effect. All those nations who pulled away from you going to be now deemed, we're going to be going at y'all ass. Okay, right? So during the 90 days, people is supposedly, according to the story, is people crossing the line, getting in so they can be over there to be considered Contra. The Contras camps is what they had. And people who ran from plantations, so supposedly getting over to the lines of the Union. And now they're looking at, well, some of them were sick. Some of them were not worthy to be them. So it's like, well, what we going to do? Because remember, they just in 1850 had what was that? The Bring the Slave Back Act. I can't remember the time. Bring the Slave Back Act in 1850, right? And so what happens is Lincoln them say, from a law standpoint, even though I'm making this Confiscation Act, which is illegal, he didn't have the right to do that shit. Really, if you think about it, that really was eminent domain. Yeah? You think about it, that's really probably the beginning of eminent domain. When he made that Confiscation Act, that probably was eminent domain because why? We was deemed what? Property. So he confiscated the act because they was treason against the nation, and he confiscated like eminent domain, we taking your damn property. But so to know they didn't gonna have a legal problem afterwards, so what he did is they made them become in the military and then pay them. Now, this is how you know this is how black folks got money after 1865, according to what they tell us, according to this story, right? So now they sit and say, okay, now when we give them this money, now remember the war goes on by what, about 3-4 years? They like, okay, what y'all gonna do with this money? So somebody said they came with a grandiose idea. Well, maybe, why don't you put it in the bank? Yeah. Put it in the bank. So okay, so black folks put money in bank. Now, accordingly, I can't think at the top of my head right now who was the president, but there's somebody who is being sent from New York, from them bankers who coming to the president to say they're going to set up the banks for them. Now, I want you to watch this and watch how this works. So they make the bank, but they make the bank where it's not insured. That the government is not backing. If they lose their money, the government ain't going to back it. So you gave them, black folks put their money in there, but it's not insured. They buying shit. They buying shit look like railroad to me. And then they said the market crashed, bank money. And then as they were doing a bank run, they made Frederick Douglass come out and say, I'm putting $10,000 of my money in there. Keep your money in there. It ain't going to go nowhere. Well, who? He put his $10,000 in there to keep black folks there. That's why most of our black folks never trusted the damn banks. Put money, hide them in, you know what I'm saying? Places where we hide money, right? That's why. Because from what happened back then, took their money, bust them. And all them freedmen banks they had, bust all of them. And all of a sudden, when you go look into the research, you'll see something about New York and how they made the railroad and transportation. Where the hell y'all get that money from? Anyway, that's just me talking. That's just me talking. All right, where you get that money from? So now check this out. Black folks at that time, now think about it. We coming out of these situations from 1865. They talking about, oh, we gonna make a contract, go back down, they gonna work back in the same place. As you think part of the motherfucker that you said fought against the nation. We supposed to go back down there. He don't hate us. He gonna make these motherfucking laws so that he can keep us handcuffed, and we supposed to go back and live down there, right? I mean, that shit ain't gonna work. We know this shit ain't gonna work, right? So what happens is black folks said, those who are a certain age, we're gonna make a they learned everything from pension fund. That shit started with us. That was our people creating the Social Security for our people who couldn't work, too old, and then they was making like, I don't know, is it like fufu? What's they call fufu? What that shit they do? That them people from the Caribbean, they putting their money in the pot, right? And so they take the money allocated and then they give everybody they cut. And the government's like, hell no, y'all can't do no shit like that. Made that shit illegal and did what they did with Marcus Garvey and said that it was mail fraud to bust it up. Go do your research. You'll see it. You'll see it. That's what they did, man. That's what they did. And so, how many times can you keep pulling the rug from a motherfucker and then he's supposed to keep recovering, keep recovering, keep recovering? Like watching that, somebody had the bootleg, I caught the bootleg, what's that last name? What's the name of that fight last night? I caught the bootleg of it. Crawford and, was it Crawford and, the other one name, shit, boy. He was, I did not expect him boxing like that. He didn't look good at all. He was not looking good. But, get socked up too many times. How many times you going to keep getting up? Right? And that's what it is. You keep socking them up. But see, we resilient. We still going to do it. May not get up as fast as we was. But, you'll get there eventually, right? You get back there eventually. And that's what everything is doing, about trying to stop you from that. So, that's what we do over here. We is the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. We take news with history, with life experience, with jokes, seriousness and all that good stuff. If anybody feel like, no, ain't no hatred, but y'all know there's a lot of hatred towards us. Sometimes people in here ain't gonna say what need to be said, and that's what we do over here. So you like what you like over here. You got a message over here, right? You share, like, comment, right? Mr. Spence. Spence. Okay. Okay, Spence. I hear you. Right? So for those of you might be in the house who are new, wait a minute. I got something here. Wait, hold on. Wait. Now see, some of y'all is like this. Now, don't be offended. I got this. I heard this or something, but don't be offended. But sometimes it's kind of like this. It's like how they just listen to this. Listen what they say. Listen to this. Hold on. Wait. Make sure they don't let that loop. Yeah, don't let that. Yeah, don't let it. Yeah. Now listen to this. It's gonna be quick. It ain't gonna be much, but that's how some people feel, right? That's how they feel about us. They feel just like this.
What do you call a black man in America? What do you call a black man in America? A nigga, 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 a nigga, 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 nigga.
Sometimes they ask, that's just how it is. Sometimes people like that, right? That's how they look at us, right? It's funny. Do you call a black man in America? I can't roll like that. I'm black American. I ain't got that. I can't do that shit. I just speak straight, right? Right? Yeah, right. That don't hurt us. You understand? That don't hurt us, man. You hurt yourself when you do that. Because you actually not giving honor to which is actually it get right, you can get right. But y'all don't understand that. So you feel like you can bump us and again, like trading places, right? You think if you could come in here, you could hold on, let me get that visual for that. Let me get the visual for that now. Let me come in here. Y'all come in here, right? Come in just like that, right? I guess we supposed to be Dan Aykroyd, and y'all was Eddie Murphy, right? And now y'all trade places, right? That's how y'all feel. But we tell y'all all that shit is a mirage. It's an illusion. It ain't real. But in time, you're gonna figure it out. And I think the time has come because, well, you find out you're gonna be used as a shield, like in John Wick. I take a motherfucker and then shoot him. He put the man in front of him and take all the damn bullets. Well, that's what he did. He put your ass in the damn front, take all the damn bullets. So when we come back to be like, hey, that shit ain't. And then now the Chinese side here trying to defend them, say, oh, they used us. We didn't do all that. It was. No. You thought you were slick. Y'all thought because y'all can go in there and rig, get all the hundreds on the test. You know, you lie, y'all cheating, right? One motherfucker said he keep taking the test to get 100. Well, damn, wait a minute. I don't think I would even honor you. If you go, okay, sometimes you take, again, I remember I told y'all a story about what, 2 shows ago, but it wasn't because I couldn't pass the motherfucker, because we had a conversation. I had a conversation with the instructor's husband, and he started talking about that. He started going into the slaves. Now, I don't know who he thought I was, but he found out who I wasn't. He didn't like it. And what he did is, it was a test that you don't get to get back. They just tell you the score, right? So I didn't actually get to see it. He just told me what my score was, and I kept failing. I was like, "What you mean I'm failing?" So I'll take it again, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Oh, you fucking with me psychologically, knowing I passed all along, but kept making me go back to the fact. What happens is when people do that to you, you start questioning what you know. You get what I'm saying? You start questioning about what the fuck you know. Because he was mad because he said, I don't believe that slaves had it bad way back in there. And he didn't know I know. Oh, you talking about Magnolia's myth? I don't believe in that shit. See, he didn't know who he was talking to. He thought he was talking to, somebody who still kind of knew about that. Oh no, that's what I do. So, like, no, that's a myth. I don't know what you mean, because slave was happy and didn't have to worry. They always tell me that he was happy. He didn't have to worry about that. What? Y'all fooling yourself with that shit, man. Anyway, that's what it is. So I don't know. Do I got what did I cut? I think I touched everything, man. It's 3 hours. I sure not doing 5 tonight. You know what I'm saying? Can't do 5 tonight. I think again, so I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming here, sitting here, listen to what WeUpReport do. Again, we've been in the business for 11 years now. July 26th was our anniversary. But you can't believe and you can't understand how the fuck we've been down here stuck in the hole is because why? What is he talking about? That the system found me early in the game, heard what I was talking about, and some people think it's all a number game. They think because I'm big YouTuber because I get the numbers. Maybe you found a niche. Let me get some of this YouTube game. I've been 11 years, right? So I think I understand it, even though it doesn't work for me the way that it works for other people. Because I guess I could start a matter of fact. How about this? You see the logo on your screen? Go find WeUpReport. Go subscribe over there. I'm at 11. So there's a few people went over there. I'm at 11 subscribers. Let's see if we can get me to 1,000. Let's see if we can get 1,000. Then let's see what the system do what it's supposed to do when I do that, right? Because this one here, they already said you ain't gonna go nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. You get some, I'll get 4 or 5 here, come back and shit. They took that 4 or 5 back and took 3 back behind it. You understand? So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Most people would have quit by now. You'd have quit by now. But I'm showing something. I'm showing by this example. And I'm hoping some people will get it. This is how you have to fight, y'all. Sometimes shit is rigged. You're not going to see the benefit of it. But what you lay down may be the benefit for somebody else, and you went through that. Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? All right. All right. So, again, my executive producer of the show, Mr. Spencer 0620, We Boogie in the house. I don't know who else who might be in the house. You let no message, let me know you up in here, but everybody else have stayed. I appreciate you staying. Listen to WeUpReport. I'm your host again, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. This has been a WeUpReport. And, again, next Sunday, this time, same back time, same back channel, but not 8 o'clock, though. We're going to be on before then. So, for those, again, just in case you thinking about it or thought about doing it, we're gonna give you this. Matter of fact, I would actually even open up. Well, I better not, because if I do, we're gonna be here all damn night. I didn't eat. I got to eat, but I made sure I did this, right? So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Again, subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff, right? Till my next show, y'all. To the next.
The enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.